Today on the NHL on NBC, the Flyers were down, but not out. With the series tied at 2, bring on Game 5. And in Dallas, the Avalanche look to finish the upset. The Stars look to survive. It's the Stanley Cup playoffs on NBC.
Welcome to the ADT Security NBC Sports Update. Here's your host, Bill Clement.
Mike Modano is the captain of the Dallas Stars. Today, his leadership put to the test once again as the Stars face elimination against the Colorado Avs. And Peter Forsberg took control of this series in games 3 and 4 at home for Philadelphia. He'll try to keep that trend alive in Buffalo today for Game 5. And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Stanley Cup playoffs on NBC. Bill Clement with Ray Ferraro and Eddie Olczyk. And gents, if you want to look for a playoff series that's entertaining, you really don't have to look any further than Philadelphia and Buffalo.
Well, Buffalo can really skate, and they'll want to have a high tempo in Game 5. The Flyers are going to want to control the neutral zone so the Sabres can't turn this into a track meet.
Well, in Game 5, Dallas down 3-1. For me, the key is Sergei Zubov. 3 assists in Game 4, second in the regular season scoring for a defenseman. He needs to continue to do what he's been doing from the blue line.
All right, there were 2 Game 5s last night in the NHL. One in the Eastern Conference that saw the defending champs, the Tampa Bay Lightning, trying to keep their season alive in Ottawa.
The problem for Tampa Bay, one of them anyway, was they couldn't get a handle on Marty Havlat the whole series. That's his 6th of the series as Ottawa knocks out the defending champs.
Ottawa advances out west, Anaheim and Calgary Game 5.
Flames shorthanded Matthew Lombardi to Tony Amani, who beats J.S. Giguère, and the Flames lead 1-0.
The Flames' best offensive player all season long and in this series has been Jerome McGinley. This is his 2nd of the night. That's 3 goals on 8 shots for J.S. Giguère. He left after that point. Anaheim gets 2 in the 3rd, but it was not enough.
Calgary leads the series 3-2. Another Game 5 this afternoon. You can see it's been a homers series. And Game 5 today is in Buffalo. And moments ago, our Camry Granato spoke with Flyers head coach Ken Hitchcock.
Well, Coach, you talked about giving your team hope earlier in this series. How specifically were you able to do that?
Well, I think the 8-2 loss here, it was embarrassing, and I think our team had to respond in a different way. We've shown character all year, what we've had to fight through to get to this level, and we did it. We did it in Game 3 and 4, but Buffalo has home ice advantage, and we're going to have to win a game on the road if we expect to win this series.
Can you talk about the play of Peter Forsberg and what he's meant to your team?
Well, he's a great leader, and he knows the right time. I think he was disappointed by his own performances in Game 1 and 2, and he stepped up in 3 and 4. Nice part, too, was people followed him very closely, and for us to win, he's got to be our best player, and other people have to follow in the same manner we did in Game 3 and 4.
You mentioned coming back to Buffalo on the road. It's a high-energy building. You guys got in some penalty trouble early in the series. How do you plan to stay disciplined today when this building's so crazy?
Well, their team they feed off that energy, and we seem to take a lot of penalties early in the first period. We've got to find a way to keep it 5-on-5, and I think we've got to find a way to keep them bottled up in their own zone more than they usually do. They're a terrific team playing on the move. I think we've got to get them stopped up and stationary a lot more early in the game.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
Bill?
Cammy, thanks very much. Ray, the Sabres have said that this game is going to be about one predominant emotion for them today.
And that's anger. They want to play with it. They felt they didn't have it in the 2 games in Philadelphia. Ken Hitchcock just mentioned he wanted to stop up the Sabres. The Sabres can't let that happen and turn this into a series of strength because they'll lose. Eddie, they need to continue to skate.
Well, Philadelphia certainly wants to get in front in this game. Every game in this series going into this Game 5, Philadelphia's been behind in the first 6 minutes of the game. They need a good start, and Robert Esche has been very good. They gave up 4 breakaways in the last game. They can't give up that many opportunities. They're going back to Philadelphia down by 1.
All right, some will see this game. Some will see Game 5 from Dallas with Jose Theodore in goal for the Colorado Avs. He's got 3 wins, looking for one more W to advance. We'll break down Game 5 when we come back. An update from the NFL Draft.
This has been the ADT Security NBC Sports Update. ADT Security Services, the world leader in home and business security.
Tonight, a night of all-new drama on NBC. First, a West Wing former opponent could be the next vice president.
I want you to do the job.
Then, Law & Order Criminal Intent ripped from the headlines. A cruise ship murder goes overboard.
Who said anything about murder?
And Crossing Jordan, a normal day on the job, ends as a kidnapping.
Garrett, call me back.
All new West Wing, Criminal Intent and Crossing Jordan, tonight on NBC.
If it's speed, quality, and reliability you're after in a lawnmower, then look no further. Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower.
They're supposed to blare a warning when severe weather's headed your way. But can you count on them when you need them most?
I'm Eyewitness News investigator Bob Siegel. We knew many tornado sirens failed a recent statewide test. But when we dug deeper, we found a problem much more serious than anyone imagined.
Pointless tests, broken sirens going unfixed, and massive areas with no sirens at all.
Whose responsibility is it? We don't know.
13 investigates, beginning Monday at 6 on Indiana's news leader, Channel 13 Eyewitness News.
Nice shot.
Thank you. Is your game ready? The Youth Links Indiana Charity Golf Tournament, June 25th and 26th. Call 237-5000 to enter your foursome. Youth Links Indiana, having fun, helping kids.
Watch your backspin on this one, boys.
Dr. Oz's 90-day Live Longer, Feel Younger plan. Next Oprah.
Marty Turco had his best game in Game 4 at Colorado. And there is no room for error today as his Dallas Stars face elimination again. Welcome back to the studio, everybody. A couple of Game 5s today. Eddie, when we're talking about Dallas and Colorado and their Game 5, who do you think this game is going to ultimately end up being about?
Jose Theodore, no question in my mind. He has to be the man that stops the Dallas Stars. In Game 4, 39 shots on goal for the Dallas Stars. He needs to be the pillar of defense for the Colorado Avalanche.
Well, he better be, because Dallas played by far their best game of the series in Game 4. They were aggressive. Bill Guerin finally showed up in the series, scored a big goal, had 9 shots on goal. Mike Modano has to outplay Joe Sakic. That's the matchup I want to see this afternoon.
And I would say that we're going back to Colorado for Game 6.
I'm going to agree.
All right, it's been a busy weekend here in New York. Day 2 of the NFL Draft just across the street. We're going to check back in now for this report from Andrea Kramer.
Thanks very much, Bill. 2 quarterbacks selected early in the 4th round, Penn State's Michael Robinson by the 49ers and Missouri's Brad Smith by the Jets, project to other positions in the pros. I just spoke to Niners head coach Mike Nolan, who told me he plans to play Robinson at running back and get him starting out on 3rd downs. They don't plan to have a package of passing plays for him, although he could be the 3rd quarterback, which would save a roster spot. Of course, the most versatile quarterback in this draft is Texas's Vince Young, taken number 3 by the Titans. I've spoken to numerous head coaches and personnel men, and one thing I kept hearing over and over was that the team that selects Young must totally commit its offensive system to his skills. So I asked Young what he thinks he needs to do to adapt himself to the NFL.
Just talking to Coach Fish and Coach Shaw, they say don't try to fix nothing that's broken. As long as you're getting the ball to point A to point B, reading the coverages, knowing if that blitz guy come where your hot routes at and things like that, you'll be fine. And they just like my way, how I carry myself as a person for one, and my desire to win ball games.
Titans head coach Jeff Fisher told me he expects Vince Young to come in and learn Norm Chow's offense, although they certainly don't plan to turn him into a pocket passer. As for the Titans' incumbent quarterback, Steve McNair, several sources told me that a trade is in the works with the Baltimore Ravens and could be consummated any day, although it's on the Titans' timetable, and a contract agreement must still be worked out between McNair and the Ravens, Bill.
Andrea, thank you very much. There's Joe Sakic, one of the most prolific scorers in Stanley Cup playoff history, trying to deliver the knockout punch. When we come back, we'll have you out to puck drop, Dallas and Buffalo.
Me? I'm a problem solver. If there's a problem, I solve it. One problem I thought I'd solved, my acid reflux disease. I thought it was just bad heartburn. But when I went back to my doctor, he told me over time stomach acid had damaged the lining of my esophagus. He prescribed Nexium. Said I needed more than heartburn relief. My esophagus needed repair. Nexium healed the erosions in my esophagus. And one prescription Nexium pill a day keeps me healed and relieves my heartburn. So I don't just feel better, I am better. My doctor did say other serious stomach conditions may still exist, and headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain could be side effects of Nexium.
Talk to your doctor about Nexium and find out if a free trial is right for you.
Even the best problem solvers need a little help sometimes.
Nexium, the healing purple pill. If you can't afford your medications, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Best Buy's got the cool gifts to make every gift-giving occasion a celebration. From great wedding gifts to fun birthday gifts they're sure to love. Even cool gifts perfect for any graduate. And don't forget, Mom's Day is May 14th. This year, get her what she really wants, like the 5-megapixel HP digital camera, just $89.99. Cool gifts for Mom, now at Best Buy.
That's all checks and balances, Dave. It's going to be a good meeting.
Scott, we got traffic ahead. Can you suggest an alternate route? Scott, will this exit get us around traffic? Scott, do I bear left or right?
I don't know.
To find your way easily around traffic, remember, it's TomTom, not Scott. Just tap on the screen and a helpful voice guides you where you're going on time. TomTom is your portable, everyday GPS solution.
Thursday on an all-new Earl, a family secret leads to a probing discovery.
How was that cavity search? You got any, or you brush pretty good?
Randy, different cavity. Then on The Office, the complaint box is opened.
Someone replaced all my pens and pencils with crayons.
And the truth comes out.
I don't like you. Well, all settled then.
All new comedy Thursday.
For 4 decades, the orange and black have made fans elsewhere see red. Today, it's Sabres fans in Buffalo, where these guys have won 2 games at home. The playoffs, a mean physical battle. Both teams, both fan populations feel the intensity. In Buffalo in Game 1, the Sabres delivered a crushing blow to R.J. Umberger and the Flyers in a double overtime thriller, and then dominated the play in winning Game number 2. But in Philadelphia, the winds were shifting to the backs of Peter Forsberg and R.J. Umberger, who delivered a blow of his own with the go-ahead goal in Game 4, inspiring some poster board prophecy. Today, the 2 tough teams are back in Buffalo. Game 5, tied series, Eastern Conference quarterfinals, the NHL playoffs on NBC. The Stanley Cup playoffs presented by Sprint on a beautiful spring afternoon in Buffalo. NBC Sports is proud to bring you Game 5, the Sabres and the Flyers. Good afternoon, everybody. Along with Peter McNabb, I'm Mike Emmerich. The Flyers left here after Game 2, seemingly having no hope at all.
But inside that locker room, you always know what the Philadelphia Flyers are going to bring. They're going to be big. They are going to be the Broad Street Bullies when they need it. But they were a lot more disciplined in Games 3 and 4. They came at Buffalo. They took Games 3 and 4 from Buffalo with Peter Forsberg. Forsberg absolutely brilliant in both of the games. He was first star in both games. He had the game-winning goal in both games, 3 and 4 for Philadelphia.
Robert Esch did not finish Game 2 here. He's come back strong in Games 3 and 4.
To me, the most important part of this game for Robert Esch is the first 10 minutes. He has allowed a goal against in each of the first 4 games. In those first 5-6 minutes, this gives Buffalo a big lift. He gets his club into the game with a solid first period in this afternoon's game.
Well, Peter Forsberg seemed to have free reign in Philadelphia. If that's the offensive scheme, who defensively, if you're the Sabres, do you assign to him?
If you look at it, you're going to go to old friend, old teammate, old line mate, Chris Drury. Chris Drury is one of those guys. His best attribute is the ability to play big in big games, and this man is a winner, just like Peter Forsberg.
What do you expect at the start of this game?
The start of this game, the crowd is going to be into it, and the Sabres are going to feed off the frenzy in this building.
Inside the glass we go now to Cami Granato and Peter Forsberg.
Well, Peter, in Game 1,
in the first 2 games, you scoreless. Last 2 games, 4 goals. What's been the difference for you?
I think just overall, our team is working better, and we got outplayed in the first 2 games, and we're all coming back, and we're all playing better. Not only me, the whole team, and we're going to keep a momentum going here. You know, they've been having a great start, so hopefully we can have it better today.
How much do you expect to see Chris Drury on the ice today when you're on the ice?
I think I'm going to see him a lot, but he's a great player, so it's going to be a good matchup.
Great, thanks, Peter. Doc?
Well, the Sabres have a lot of home success to draw on, but when they left here and went into Philadelphia, they had no finish.
That's exactly right, Doc. That's the one thing. They were actually unhappy and angry with themselves because they felt they had a real chance in both Game 3 and Game 4 to take complete control of this series. They just simply couldn't finish on 5 breakaways and a penalty shot in Game 4. This is a fast club. They will come with speed. And again, the energy in this building, they've got to use it the right way early in this game. But for Miller, he's going to have to respond. Any great goaltender will tell you, they'll let in a bad goal. It's the ability to rebound and show confidence early that's the key.
Cammy is downstairs with one of the Sabres, Mike Greer.
Well, Mike, yesterday there was a lot of talk about your team being angry. What's the mood in the locker room today?
Well, the guys are excited. We know we missed a lot of good chances the other night, and we didn't play as well as we would have liked to defensively, so we're excited.
Thanks for the time, Mike. Doc?
Another arm wrestling match between old playoff rivals who went to the finals 31 years ago. Later today, one leaves this arena facing elimination. Which will it be? Forsberg and Drury will have the opening face-off when we come back.
Hi.
This Nextel calling plan is great.
Yeah.
So all incoming calls are free, plus I get unlimited Nextel walkie-talkie?
That's right.
Kind of makes you want to jump up and down and scream for joy.
We have an area for that right over here.
Free incoming calls from anyone, anywhere, plus unlimited walkie-talkie, just $39.99. Available on Sprint or Nextel products.
They say your footprint is as unique as your fingerprint.
It's like me, unique.
That's why Dr. Scholl's created memory fit insoles with memory foam to form to the shape of your foot.
It forms right around your feet.
For customized comfort, see the doctor, Dr. Scholl's.
If you love the convenience of shopping online, but you want to get a hold of your stuff ASAP, Circuit City makes it simple. Just buy online at CircuitCity.com and choose the in-store pickup option. We're the only place that guarantees your purchase will be ready for pickup in 24 minutes or less. If it's not, we'll give you a $24 gift card. It's that simple. Circuit City.
Huh. Calories provide energy, but how much energy do you need? Powerade Option, the low-calorie sports drink.
Follow your team wherever you are, all season long, with XM Satellite Radio.
I gotta tell you, I think it's still going.
XM Satellite Radio. Listen large.
To all those parents who choose the minivan over the sports car, the vacation in Orlando over Antigua, chicken fingers over chicken cordon bleu. Just think, soon you'll have to do none of those things. Look into retirement savings from the AIG companies. Retirement Loans Insurance. AIG.
At AOL, we believe everyone should be fast. That's why we're making it simple for our members to upgrade from dial-up to true broadband. To get AOL high speed for as low as $25.90 a month, sign up now at AOL.com/highspeed. Want a better high-speed internet? You belong at AOL.
The NHL Stanley Cup playoffs on NBC presented by Sprint is brought to you by Rocky Mountain Refreshing Coors Light. Taste the cold. By Dodge, you can take life as it comes or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. By AIG, for insurance, loans, and retirement, AIG. and by Sprint, official wireless provider of the NHL. Game 5. When you get to a Game 5, you want to have experience, including your defenseman of 17 years, Teppo Numminen. He is back in the Sabres lineup today.
And we'll be watching him very closely. Middle of Game 3. He had to leave the bench and leave the game for both Game 3 and Game 4 because his heart was just racing. He's back on medication. It's a situation that happened back in 2004. He eventually will have to have an operation and have the valve replaced.
You talk about a heart racing. That's always the case with a goalie. And you see Ryan Miller just before the teams came out a half hour ago for the warm-up. By himself at the bench before his team followed him. Here is Chris Drury with the first chance over the glove hand of Edge. And it's Tallinder to keep it for Buffalo. That one rattled behind. Sabres have come up with the first goal in each of the 4 games, usually inside the first 5 minutes. It has been another occasion inside the first 6, and a shot is grabbed by Edge. A good wrister that came flying his way from Ludman, and a crowd gathers.
The last time this crowd saw the Buffalo Sabres and Philadelphia Flyers, it was at the end of an 8-2 win for the Buffalo Sabres. It went on to Philadelphia. Philadelphia regathered. Their composure did not take as many bad penalties. But Buffalo wants to come out and recapture that emotion, Doc. Recapture that energy, that finish that they had in Game 2. They want it back. They couldn't quite get it done, especially in Game 4, where they dominated a lot of odd man rushes.
Full house here in Buffalo. There was a whiteout for the first game. They have not repeated that today, but you'll see most every seat filled unless somebody gets thirsty or hungry. It is Desjardins. One of the brilliant goals of this playoff was set up in Game 4 by Peter Forsberg, and you got to see it earlier. Desjardins was the man who completed it. Turned across for the carry back on. J.P. Dumont sends it in for Buffalo.
And that's one of the things that for Peter Forsberg's teammates, they're going to start to learn what Peter Forsberg is all about. Remember, Doc, Peter Forsberg's been in the Western Conference for 9 of his 10 years before he came here. And so the Western Conference always saw what Forsberg could do, but the Eastern Conference, he was sort of a myth. His first year he played against, you got a situation where he was with Quebec and New York Rangers. That was his rookie year. Then he had Florida in the Stanley Cup Finals. That was a done deal. He did not play against Jersey. So this is his first early round playoff experience in the East.
And Peter Forsberg, I talked to Chris Drury about him yesterday. He said he's been shadowing him. He can see there's a look in his eye that he had in the past 2 games that he didn't have in the first 2. That's a pretty scary thing with a player like that.
Pete, remember when you used to go into Pittsburgh and Mario Lemieux would come in the back door to the old Civic Arena, now Mellon Arena, and you would see that look in his eye at a playoff game, and you'd say, oh, he's going to get 4 points or something like that tonight.
There's a special look. Our good friend Joe Micheletti and I were standing at the Olympics before one of the big medal games, and Matt Sundin, who had been so gracious early in the tournament, well, suddenly the heat had been turned up. We asked him to do a quick interview. He just flat said, no. You know, very politely, but there is a look these great players get when they know that it's on their shoulders to help their hockey clubs win.
Jay McKee out for Buffalo on defense, comes to the bench now. Jay is one of the players who's wearing a microphone for us this afternoon. Meanwhile, the Flyers bring it out, and this is Forsberg gaining the zone. Lobbing one across, hoping for Mike Knuble, canceled out on the lean of Derek Roy. Back up in a 2-on-2. The Sabres might rear the drive. Blocked by Ash. Scoop back into him and play halted. The fact that Peter Forsberg can have such an impact on a game is not lost on the Sabres, in particular Daniel Briere.
You know, we got carried away with Peter Forsberg, I think, in Philadelphia a little bit, running after him a little too much, where we got out of the position. You know, he's got two goal scorers in Knuble and Gagne playing with him, and we got to be careful. A few times we left him open. The one goal he found Desjardins at the top of the key where he was all alone because we had three guys chasing him. So obviously you always have to keep a close eye on Peter Forsberg, but we can't get too carried away with that also.
And you can't get in too much of an awe of trying to help out your teammate with Forsberg, because his line mates the line is combined for 41 shots on goal. Forsberg only has 8 of those. So Knuble and Gagne have been getting their shots.
This is away from Sami Kapanen and sent right back to him by Joni Pitkanen and laid on back further for Sabres control. Dimitrakos is out there now with Kapanen, but he comes to the bench as they're changing the line to get Jeff Carter as well as R.J. Umberger out there. Did they ever have a strong finish to the regular season when it came to collecting goals? That line in the last 19 games had 22 goals, one more than the Gagner-Forsberg-Kanuba line had in the same time. But in the playoffs, it is only Umberger who has been able to connect. Most of the offense has come from the one big line for the Flyers, and in the playoffs, that can be very dangerous. Most teams can defend against one line. A Finneganoff brings it ahead, tries to swagger by and cannot. Good defensive play by Freddie Meyer. Back to a Finneganoff, but it's pushed into the referee's skates, and so it's played back across. Tim Peel, Don Van Massenhoven, the referees. Brad Kovacek and Tim Nowak are the linesmen, and we have the first big roar of approval.
The big hit, good, strong play. The key for Philadelphia is do not retaliate. They did that in games 1 and 2. It cost them 21 times they were in the box.
Kodalika's shot blocked and covered by Robert Ashe.
This is the kind of physical play that you just have to take. Doc, in the regular season, maybe you come right back at the guy. Maybe you don't want this kind of tone to be set. In the playoffs, that's a tip-your-hat play. You got me. When if I find you, I'll give it right back. But that kind of play, you have to just take it.
The intensity in this building is just incredible right now. Both teams feeling it. There's a lot of big hits. Buffalo's bringing the speed, and Philly's playing physical in their zone like they want to.
Boy, a lot of chatter at the bench, I'll bet, Ken. Is there yelling back and forth, or has it gotten to that point?
It's a little, you can't even hear the benches right now. It's so loud in this building. I'm sure the guys are having trouble hearing each other on the ice as well, but the tempo is so high down at ice level.
Connolly with a shot, and it went wide, and it's poked aside by Ashe. Given up, though. Moving in front, Kodalik can't get it there. Thrown in front on a bank shot by Pominville, and the penalty is called.
You can see why Buffalo was so successful this year. This is a four-line speed team. Lindy Ruff, right from day one of training camp, said, gentlemen, there are new rules. We are going to not be a team that gets caught having the new rules surprise us. We are going to go and go and go. And that is the key for this Buffalo club and how they got off to such a great start and were able to sustain it all through the season.
5 for 32 on the power play in the series. 2 minutes. Rattled around by Connolly. Taken by Daniel Briere. Of the Buffalo Sabres, he has the most scoring chances in this series at 24. Simon Gagner of Philadelphia has 22. Those are the most by either team in the series of bona fide scoring chances.
Oh, for Daniel Briere, so many of those came in game 1. 14 shots on goal in a double overtime game that he eventually got the game winner. That was Esch's obviously best game here of the two, and he wants to recapture that kind of momentum. The whole Philadelphia club kind of lost their composure in period 1 of the second game.
We listen to all this noise, Peter, and I know it's in the coach's handbook that home ice only means something in game number 7. That's where it really means something. Before it doesn't. Do you agree with that?
Oh, I do now, Doc. You look around the league, it's the home team in 35 games. The home team's won 17, the road club 18. This is the only one of the playoff series that's good old-fashioned. You win in my building, I'll win in mine, and then we'll bring it back for a game 7.
Turned around was Tuma. Power play time is nearly half gone to the Sabres, and the Flyers can bring it out. Hatcher connects across. Brian Savage back to Hatcher. His shot is deflected wide. Picked up, though. They've got Savage in front. Can't get it there. Twisting with it is Mike Richards. Richards draws a couple of Sabres to him. Great penalty kill for Richards, and more time continues to go off the clock, and they're down to only 40 seconds.
And, Doc, we have now gone past the longest we've been into the game without Buffalo being ahead 1-0.
Connolly moving in. He scores!
Well, maybe from now on, we're not going to see Connolly ever take warm-up. He got bumped in warm-up in the head, did not take the majority of warm-up, and has come out and just been flying. But you see what the speed of Buffalo does. I mean, Philadelphia just backed and backed and backed in until Conley was walking into a perfect scorer's place. Right there, that's exactly where you would want to be on a breakaway. What a nice shot. And I'll tell you, this is one of the real good stories in hockey. Here's a kid who a couple years ago missed the whole season because of a concussion. He's got tremendous skill. And have him back playing as well as he is now in hockey is a great story. Never mind his 6th point of these playoffs.
Connolly's 3rd goal, his first power play goal, and as Pete mentioned, point number 6.
And you notice Conley wearing the visor. He doesn't normally wear a visor. He was hit in warm-up. First couple minutes of warm-up right in the face. He has a little cut on his nose. But he's back without a warm-up. He obviously didn't need one.
Here's Lutman a shot, and that one deflected high. Picked up and rolled around by Taylor Pyatt, playing in his first game in the series today. Shuttled in front repeatedly by Gostad, but taken then by Freddie Meyer. Meyer's pass is slowed down, lost for a moment by Gagne, just long enough for the Sabres to regain possession. Greer, the All-American of Boston University, taken out of the play by Darian Hatcher, who was slow to get up, and now is striding over toward the Philadelphia bench. Meanwhile, a shot is snagged and held by Ryan Miller, who gets his first chance to handle. Play stopped 7 minutes into the first period. Tim Connolly knifed it home at 6:05 on a power play. Big celebration.
The Stanley Cup playoffs on NBC, presented by Sprint, next Saturday and Sunday, 2 Eastern.
Get me closer, man. I smell a Hemi. I knew it! The new Ram 1500 with a new front end, new suspension, new frame. It's got a Hemi, all right, and that MDS to save you gas. Whoa! A new interior. Woo! That can't be good.
Ted Ferguson, Bud Light Daredevil. Today for a Bud Light, I'll attempt a stunt that no man should ever perform. I'll go shopping with my girlfriend during today's game.
This stuff is so cute. I'm gonna go try it all on.
Hey, time!
Yes!
Ted! Oh, he's down!
Oh.
Ted, can you hear me?
He's down.
Everybody focus. All right,
Let's
get it off. Clear, clear. Let's go. Who's winning?
We are, Ted.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Olympic gold medalists Justin Gatlin and Sean Crawford lead the USA versus the world in the largest and most storied event of its kind. The Penn Relays, coming up next on NBC.
Once again, Bud Light inside the glass. Here's Cammy Granato.
Well, we talked about the Peter Forsberg-Chris Drury line matchup so far in the game. Chris Drury's line's not only shut down Peter Forsberg's line, the offensive zone, but they've had a couple offensive opportunities for themselves. We have to watch to see if they can continue to give pressure.
A situation like this, we've now had 7 goals scored in the first period of the 3 games here in Buffalo. All 7 have gone to Buffalo. Philadelphia is yet to get off the mark here in the first periods. 2 things happen in this situation. One, Buffalo saying, gentlemen, now we're back doing what we're supposed to do. Let's not let them in. And that's what Buffalo has done for the last couple of games. Let Philadelphia back into games.
Good quick shot as it had changed possession not twice but 3 times before it was ripped to the glass by R.J. Umberger, young man out of Ohio State. Flyers, if you count this as game 6 in a row on the road, have been outscored 12-0 in first periods away from home. Last time the Flyers won the Stanley Cup was here in Buffalo in 1975. My partner, Mr. McNabb, was a rookie that year and a player for the Sabres. We are going to get a penalty call. It's against Philadelphia. It's a hook, and the Sabres get a power play as Carter will sit.
After only taking a couple of 4 penalties in that last game, Doc, you remind me, you had to bring this up, didn't you? You had to.
Well, the Flyers won that.
Flyers
that's why it's
to win.
a bad memory, right?
Exactly.
Look at all the fog.
But I happened to be one of the extra players in that game. There was basically a 3-line league at that time. And in the first game that it happened, the second game they got a bunch of kids to skate around. I was one of those players that got to skate around during timeouts with a towel. That was, and Brian Spencer and I were the 2 players for the Buffalo Sabres that were chosen to skate around and help lift the fog.
Incredible. And that the towels, I mean, did they help?
Yeah, well, I don't know if they help, but I was going to say, that's my first Stanley Cup real experience in the finals. But it was interesting, when you saw that last play, Bernie Pront did not see the puck dumped in. And it went over to Rene Robert, and, you know, you could not see the goaltender at the far end. Couldn't see him back. It wasn't as if you could see part of him. Couldn't see him at all.
Rene Robert, a member of the famous French Connection line here in Buffalo. All three have banners hanging up here, as well as at the Old Odd, not very far away, and still standing here where that game was played. Meanwhile, Ryan Miller, out of Lansing, Michigan, played that one around behind so that the Sabres can continue on this power play that is half over. Carrying it on is a Finneganov. Second in scoring chances for his team in this series so far with a dozen. Feeds to the back. The return pass came back across. Mark Gostad, who normally goes, Paul Gostad rather, who normally goes to the front of the net, didn't get it there, as back ahead now comes Richards, and his shot is deflected wide. Savage turning. Held up, and it's fed back where Vanek can bring it ahead. Thomas Vanek out of the University of Minnesota, holding and shooting. Save! And he got his glove down just before Paul Gostad reached in. Cammie.
Well, Doc, down at ice level here, you can see that Philadelphia has had so much pressure on their penalty kill. They're not allowing Buffalo to set up at all. Although Conley scored that power play goal, that goal came when he came through the blue line and pushed the defenseman back. But as far as sustained time in the zone, passing the puck around, Buffalo hasn't been able to do that because of Philadelphia's pressure.
We talk about speed, Doc, but when you're on the power play like this, there's that quickness that Buffalo often has, and you have to stay on them all the time. You get a chance for that quickness to move you out of position. That's when players are going to get open. That's when they're going to get that quick pass and the quick shot.
Derek Roy, who, like so many of these Sabres, got his experience in professional hockey in Rochester of the American League. For the Philadelphia Flyers, it's right across their parking lot. The Philadelphia Phantoms, and so many of the Phantoms, 20 of them, have seen action for the big club this year. John Stevens, their coach, is here watching from the coach's booth for Philadelphia today, where Ken Hitchcock has him stationed.
Obviously, there was no hockey last year, and you look around the American Hockey League, you look at Spezza, you look at Stahl, you look at Svatos, you look at all of these young players who had played a year in the NHL and then went down the American Hockey League and now have rebounded and had spectacular seasons this year in the NHL. You almost wonder sometimes, should every player spend a year in the American Hockey League or in minor hockey just to sort of get used to that pro game?
Well, it's not a new thing necessarily. You were a Cincinnati Sword, where you know, shot on goal and a stop by Robert Egg. This is one of the great names in American League history, the Cincinnati Sword, the farm team of the Sabres.
But for every Crosby, for every Ovechkin who steps right in and dominates as those two guys did, there are so many players that can learn the trait the way it's played down in the American Hockey League.
Taylor Pyatt with a shot that's blocked away by Egg. Ash, a busy man here. 7 shots by the Sabres so far. Forehander by Tallinder, and that one green for the take by the Flyers. They tried to reach Forsberg with a pass. There was no alley for it. Tallinder with a long toss ahead that's just ladled back in by Greer, and he comes to the bench for a change. And the net is dislodged, and play will be stopped. Midway, first period of play. There has been some crunching here. There has been 1 goal scored. It's by Connolly, and the Sabres lead 1-0.
Joe, you're glad we got the Durango, right?
Of course.
And you liked all the money we saved when we bought it, right?
Got us a bigger boat.
And you like all the room and the ride?
Sure.
Oh, and how about the Hemi engine and the DVD player and the hands-free cell? Then why won't you use the navigation system?
I'm not lost.
Dodge Durango.
This is starting to look familiar.
It's a lot of great stuff for a great price.
Starts out cold and ends up refreshing. Coors Light. Taste the cold.
Next Sunday, it's the round of 16 at the National Heads Up Poker Championship. First, a clash of generations when kid poker Daniel Negreanu looks to stay hot against old guard veteran TJ Cloutier. Plus, super genius Chris Jesus Ferguson faces the always aggressive Josh Arieh. The National Heads Up Poker Championship presented by Outback Steakhouse. Next Sunday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, NBC.
There have been positives and negatives in this series for R.J. Umberger. What a hit by Brian Campbell. But what a follow-through when the series shifted back to Philadelphia.
Now, he missed that game and the next one. This is hockey courage. This is ability to come back. You get rocked like that, a lot of times guys are gone for this series. That ends their series. Umberger comes back and scores a huge goal in Game 4.
That reputation the Flyers had when you were playing against them in the 1970s,
Very real,
they
Doc.
still have it?
Oh, well, no, the game has changed so dramatically. But there is no question that it was an actual the Philadelphia flu was a medical condition. It was a real disease that was meant to the National Hockey League.
It's easy for me to laugh about it. I guess I wasn't playing then. Give me an example of that. Like, what difference would it make for you as a player?
Well, if you happen to, you have to know the tricks of the trade to not play too much in Philadelphia. A migraine headache like you've never had before. You know, a lot of guys just bailed out, Doc. It was a hard, difficult place to play, and Philadelphia fed off that. For years, no one ever scored a hat-trick in Philadelphia. And if you ever happen to score 2 goals early, you paid the price. You didn't usually finish the game.
Sent to the front where it's collared by Campbell and drops around behind for McKay. Then back across. Go ahead, Cammy. Sorry.
We saw the Umberger goal. He said after he scored that goal, now you guys can stop showing the tape of me getting hit and you can start showing that goal.
Jay McKee comes to the bench again. 10-year veteran for in this Buffalo organization. To the back it comes now to Dmitry Kalinin. Kalinin shoveled it behind. It went around past Briere. Poked along by Teppo Numminen. Well, RJ, I think you've earned equal time offensively after having worn that shot and then come back with a huge goal. Flyers will need something to generate some offense here as the shots are 8-0. Turning with this, a Finnegan, oh, and he was almost able to slither it by. To the back now to Teppo Numminen. Slides it back across for Kalinin and a shot blocked by Robert Ashe. Down to the ice went a Sabre. Up from their seats came a lot of Buffalo fans. No arms came up.
One of the things the players have learned to respond to is the non-call also. You always think you're responding to the calls that are made. You can't get mad at a call not being made. Everybody's going to think, oh, this should have been called, that should have been called. You cannot worry about it. Just worry about, am I on the power play? Is it power play? Is it even strength?
The first shot on Ryan Miller, he grabs after 10 shots were fired by the Sabres.
Well, Finneganov is just one of those players that can just bring you out of the seats. This is the kind of player that the new rules were supposed to help. Those kind of talented players that if you just grab, of course you can stop. But if you have to, hockey-wise, control them with that kind of speed and those kind of moves, that's what makes it so exciting.
On OLN tonight, San Jose and Nashville. Next weekend, conference semifinals come your way. Saturday at 2 Eastern, Sunday at 2 Eastern on NBC. The Sharks are in Nashville after losing the first game. 4 power play goals for the Predators that night, but not much since.
And I'll tell you, Nashville has their hands full. That club with that 1-2 punch of Thornton, the leading scorer during the regular season, and Marlowe, who has 6 goals already in these playoffs, Doc, and he is right now, they are that 1-2 punch that is big. They're probably between them, but both 6'4", both about 220 pounds, and can fly. You never mind. You got Chichu, who scored 56 goals. The Rocket was shoved in her. I'm talking about the key to that club is that 1-2. How do you stop 6 skilled players like that, shift after shift?
Marlowe leads the entire playoff with those 6 goals. Only Martin Havlat is close, and he's close by 1 at 5. Pitkanen lobs it back in. So 13 and a half minutes have passed here, Peter. What do you see in the way the Flyers have performed?
Okay, they have been okay to this point. I think Esch has played well. But Buffalo is doing exactly what they did in the first 2 games. They come at you with speed. There's a good intensity. Obviously, their preparation is outstanding for these games. And Philadelphia still needs to get somebody else besides Peter Forsberg really generating some offense. Get them concerned. Get Buffalo concerned that it's going to be a high-scoring, interesting game.
Oh, Gagne with a shot that has gotten through a screen by Ryan Miller. You know, at the beginning of this season, Lindy Ruff had 2 nets for practice and 3 goaltenders. And they were all very strong goaltenders with great American Hockey League credentials, and all 3 young.
But you look at Ryan Miller, this is the guy that is going to be, you think, the future of this Buffalo club. He has all the credentials from Michigan State all the way through. This guy has just had a sensational career.
What a great feed from Greer on to Chris Drury. Sabres are just like sharks here. On the forecheck, causing turnovers. Now it is Ludman nudging it around behind in the final 6 minutes of this first period. Shots are 11-2 in favor of Buffalo. The lone goal, Connolly on a power play. Here's Kodalit. Twisting now, looking over his options. Kodalit feeds one on. Pominville tried to step by, could not. Pominville has a hat trick in this series. Game number 2 for the Sabres. Savage tries to fight by. Numminen said no, but a good recoil. Got it for Nedved. Tries for Kapanen. Knifed away by Teppo Numminen. And Numminen tied up on the boards and then turned it back over to the Flyers again. They hold for a hurried toss, and they're hoping for Savage, who chipped it behind for Sammy Kapanen. Rubbed out there. Numminen comes in. 2 aside, and the puck frozen. 5:18 left in the opening period of this contest from Buffalo. It is 1-0 on Connolly's goal.
You are the lucky one!
These ships weren't designed to float upside down.
You can get us off this boat.
I can't.
You stay here, we're gonna drown. Hold on! Take a deep breath!
There's nothing fair about who lives and who dies.
Poseidon, rated PG-13, in theaters and IMAX May 12th.
Hi, what's Sprint's new fair and flexible plan?
Unlimited night calling starts at 7 p.m.
Whoa, 7 p.m. That's... What's the word?
Why don't we spin the wheel of adjectives?
That's phenomenal!
Unlimited night calling now starts at 7 p.m. with Fair and Flexible. So you control your plan. It doesn't control you. Available on Sprint or Nextel products.
Silly little ferry.
Oh! Introducing the all-new Dodge Caliber. It's anything but cute. Tuesday, a new partner.
But they brutalized that girl!
Maybe just too much. All-new Law & Order SVU. Tuesday on NBC.
One of those little stories inside a bigger story. Chris Drury and Peter Forsberg, old line mates. This will drive Chris Drury crazy. He is leading the NHL in face-off wins so far in the playoffs. And Peter Forsberg's never been known as an outstanding face-off guy. And Peter Forsberg wins it. Now, that's just a little battle between these 2 guys, but you can bet Chris Drury's going to dig down just that much deep to even it up next time.
Good hit by Mike Greer. You may have noticed that the resulting faceoff was won by Drury. Forsberg almost got through to take the puck off the draw, and that would have counted as a win for him. But he did not. Now Ludman with under 5 minutes to go. Jostled there by big Mike Knuble. Fed on for Gagne, whose shot was wide. Peter Forsberg there. Taken to the wall. To the back. A shot by Rathje is wide. Tipped off the back of the cage. Knuble feeds to the outside. Pitkanen sent it on now for Gagne. Laid it behind for Forsberg. Canceled out by Talinder. And again, it hit a chink in the boards right near the Buffalo bench and is outletted further and cranked in by Pyatt.
I happen to be standing with a couple of Colorado Avalanche players when we saw Forsberg's pass from last game to Desjardins. And somebody there said, do you think Forsberg saw Desjardins? And these guys looked and just started to laugh. He saw Desjardins before Desjardins knew he was open. I mean, Peter Forsberg sees it all out there. It was amazing how his former teammate just looked at it. Of course he saw it.
So it's like Omnivision. You actually visualize it if you're really skilled like that or have that gift, how it's going to develop before it does.
Long before it does, and for Peter Forsberg and Mario Lemieux and these great players in slow motion.
Guys, if you're the Buffalo Sabres right now, you got to look out. Peter Forsberg is definitely starting to feel more comfortable on the ice, more pressure in the offensive zone. He looks like he's starting to come on.
Tammy, you know, Pete was talking up here about Forsberg, and Peter, I know there's one of those theories that if you hit Forsberg, you can get him off his game. Is that true?
It may be early, but he really learned how to channel that energy. Takes very few retaliation penalties. Now, he's still going to be one of the meanest players you're going to play against, but he does not take the ones that he would be angry at. Here's that play that we were talking about, Forsberg last game, and he just goes around, and now he's starting to pull people with him. This is where he will mesmerize you. 1, 2, 3 guys right there, everybody facing him, and look at the opening. Desjardins walked in. Desjardins just coming from way behind the play, walks in, and when Desjardins shot that puck, there was no Buffalo Sabre player in the picture.
Puck touch to the back to Desjardins again. Shooting one, and that was blocked aside by Jay McKee and played behind for control by Campbell. Okay, another thing. They look at an 82-game schedule, and they see that Peter Forsberg rarely plays 82 games because he gets hurt.
Yeah, because he plays so hard. Here's the number for you. Peter Forsberg, 9 years in Colorado, 13 surgeries, several concussions, and he lost his spleen during the playoffs of the 0-1 run to the Stanley Cup playoffs. That's only in 9 years. You can imagine when he brought his doctor's report to Philadelphia, the doctor said, well, I didn't want the whole Colorado team. I just wanted yours. No, that's fine. That's those 150 pages you've got there. Those x-rays, you know, it would take a trunk full to get them all there.
Here's Pominville's shot deflected away. Follow-up by Kalinin. Lobbed around, and Pominville took it. Fed to the back for a shot that was fanned on, but recoiled on pretty quickly. Pominville gave it over to Kalinin. Back to Newman. Across. Oh, and they tried to reconnect with Pominville. And then it's Kotelik. Alex Kotelik hands it to the back. Newman rattles it around again. And we have a delayed penalty call coming up. The call against Philadelphia with 1:55 to go in the first. Don Van Massenhoven, the referee.
Philadelphia bench minor, 2 minute men on the ice.
Coming up on our Heineken Premium Light Intermission Report, Bill Clement, Ray Ferraro, and Ed Olczyk with highlights and analysis of today's games, plus 5 things to like about the New Jersey Devils.
It was interesting to watch. I saw Ryan Miller skating towards the blue line, hands in the air. He was yelling at one of the referees or linesmen. I'm sure he saw that there were 6 Flyers on the ice. He was trying to get someone's attention. But that just shows you for Miller, that's being in the game. That's not just standing down at your end and sort of waiting for the play to come down. He's watching, he's concentrating, he's into this hockey game. Because there's different pressures on both of these goaltenders in today's game. You know, for Miller, he's coming off a game where he felt he let a bad goal, or was, at, to quote him, a weak goal in each game. You got to rebound. You got to regain the confidence. Not that it's dropped off, but you want to show your teammates, okay, I can let in a bad goal. Every goalie does. Waugh did. You know, Belfort did. All of these guys did on runs to Stanley Cups. It's how you rebound in that next game. And for Ash, he's coming off a sensational game 1 here. In game 2, a game 2 that got away from Philadelphia. Now he wants to keep his club in this game until they get their offensive game going.
Jeff Carter will serve the minor on the too many men call. Michael Handzus, one of the better penalty killers in the sport, won the draw, and it is cranked back down wide of Miller. Always interesting to look at how penalties shape up in the playoffs. There have been 10 penalties called for the puck being shot cleanly over the glass. This is the first year that players other than goaltenders can be called for that. Only 1 goalie has been guilty. The other 9 are committed by forwards or defensemen in these playoffs this year. Puck fed to the back. It is Campbell sending it around. At the front and jostled is Drury. To the back, Connolly. Does not pull the trigger. Now does. And it ricocheted off Desjardins. Is blocked by Esch. Carried back out by Sammy Kapanen. Zigzags and twists his way back in through a couple of Sabres nearby and killed off some more time. Nearing the final minute of the period. Drury brings it ahead. That pass is cut by Desjardins, and a big awe goes up to the crowd. Back across now, it's Nedved. Nice denial on him by Kodalik. Ahead roars Chris Drury. Hands it across. Held along by Briere. Had trouble with the referee's skates and his pass. 45 left in the period. 49 on the penalty, and Miller has to waffle board an attempt up into the mesh.
And for Robert Esch, goaltenders have a marvelous feel for a game. And one of the things that when you're in a game like this and you're saying, okay, maybe we're not playing that well early, I've got to be especially strong. I'll get you out of this first period, maybe just down by 1. Because you know that our club has been better in the second period and better in the third period than they have been in the first.
13 shots to 3. Esch has gotten a dozen here as it is forced off by a Finneganov and taken by Kodalik with more than enough time for another rush. Half a minute to go. Kodalik drops it, wiping out a Finneganov, but he recovered to brush it away from Savage, who gets it anyway. Savage with a shot, and that directed wide, as going back defensively and doing a good job was Numminen.
But you can see also with Buffalo's speed, we always talk about speed offensively. Their speed in readjusting, getting themselves back defensively is as good as anybody in the league.
Give away a Finneganov on a great stop by Esch. Another try, and that one deflected high, and the horn sounds. What a weird play, and Esch had one more impressive save to make.
Outstanding period for both the Buffalo Sabres and Robert Esch. The Sabres just kept coming. Esch held him up. It's just that one shot that got by him on the power play. But you know, this is where Philadelphia has been here before in all 4 games. They won't be uncomfortable, maybe unhappy, but not uncomfortable where they sit after period 1. But for Buffalo, what a good period of hockey.
14 shots for the Sabres in the first period and only 3 for the Philadelphia Flyers. 5 seconds of penalty time for the Flyers to kill off at the beginning of the second. 1 period played, 20 minutes, 17 total shots, and 1 goal by Connolly. The Heineken Premium Light Intermission Report with Bill, Ray, and Ed coming up. But first, this from our local studios. You're watching the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs on NBC.
Best Buy's got the cool gifts to make every gift-giving occasion a celebration. From great wedding gifts to fun birthday gifts they're sure to love. Even cool gifts perfect for any graduate. And don't forget, Mom's Day is May 14th. This year, get her what she really wants, like the 5-megapixel HP digital camera, just $89.99. Cool gifts for Mom, now at Best Buy.
Jenkins, do you know where Jenkins sits?
Sir, Jenkins doesn't actually work here.
But he's around all the time. I saw him here this morning.
Yeah, he's our software supplier.
From Chicago. Sir?
Here you go, Mr. Jenkins. See you back here for Thursday's meeting?
I'll be here. Thank you.
Now you can fly American for less than you think.
I was going to give him a raise.
We know why you fly. We're American Airlines. Keep up with Jenkins on AA.com. We're giving away 1 million Advantage miles.
Right. But a talking gecko, why?
I'll tell you why. Because people trust advertising icons. Some bloke tells you to go to geico.com and you're like, really? And just who might you be? But a gecko, he can be trusted. I ask if you want to save hundreds on car insurance, and you're like, yes, thank you. Mind babysitting my kids? And I'm like, of course I'll sit with the kids. You're like a brother to me.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
The Stanley Cup Playoffs on NBC, presented by Sprint, next Saturday and Sunday, 2 Eastern.
Welcome to the Heineken Premium Light Intermission Report. Here's your host, Bill Clement.
All right, in Buffalo, Game 5, the Sabres lead the Flyers 1-0 at the end of 1.
Also a Game 5 in the Western Conference in Dallas, the Colorado Avs and the Dallas Stars. And let's just say this hasn't been about offense.
No, it hasn't been. For the Avalanche, they jumped out first in every first period of this series. They led the NHL in first period goals with 99. Marty Turco diving all over the place early.
Not a very good start for the Dallas Stars. Certainly, I did not expect this at all. Colorado came out early, but Turco was there, and it seems like Dallas is starting to get their legs toward the end of the first period.
All right, no score in that one as we welcome you back to the studio. Bill Clement, Ray Ferraro, and Eddie Olczyk. And in Buffalo, go figure, the Buffalo Sabres scored first, as they always do.
Well, they've done it every game in the series, and Buffalo has been able to do it by turning this into a speed contest. Philadelphia has not been able to keep up. Philadelphia didn't get their first shot till 12.5 minutes in the first period. This period played out exactly how Buffalo wanted it.
Well, Finneganov had a great opportunity as the period expired, but I think with Philadelphia, I think they expected to see Buffalo come out like they did. Sure, they would like to spend a lot more time. We heard Philadelphia coach Ken Hitchcock talking about spending more time in the offensive zone. I think they've weathered a storm. Esch has played very well, given them an opportunity. So now they can get their legs, go in, have a couple changes. You got a long change coming up in the second period here. So just, hey, we're only down by 1. We didn't play very well. And thank goodness that we have a pretty darn good goaltender playing for us right now.
And we've been in this situation before. All right, Buffalo Sabres coming home. Obviously, they wanted to do a little bit of repair job on the scoreboard to switch the scores around from Philadelphia. But their goaltender, Ryan Miller, wanted to change some things too, didn't he, Ray?
Yeah, not just a repair job on the scoreboard, but to their psyche as well. They went into Philadelphia and they got pushed around a little bit, and Ryan Miller struggled both games in Philadelphia. I thought in particular in Game 4, he gave up a very weak goal to R.J. Umberger. Don't forget that this is Ryan Miller's first playoff series as well. This is a young Buffalo Sabre team, and their backstop is a young guy as well.
And also, too, one of their more underrated defensemen, I think, Teppo Newman, who was out with a regular heartbeat, is back in here in Game 5. He's another guy that just kind of solidifies their defense, a veteran guy, and when you only get 3 shots in a period, you should feel pretty good, darn good about himself.
Teppo Newman has played 1,250 games, Eddie. He's never been out of the first round yet, though.
It's okay. He's looking pretty good right now, though.
Well, if this game turns out to be anything like games 1, 3, and 4 of the series, it ain't over yet, so you want to stick around for the second and third period. When we come back, we're going to talk about the impressive New Jersey Devils and their sweep of the New York Rangers that they completed yesterday.
NBC Monday. Catch the excitement on an all-new Deal or No Deal. Then, it's The Apprentice's biggest twist yet.
Tammy's gorgeous.
Is it romance, or is he just playing her?
Oh.
And on an all-new Medium, Molly Ringwald guest stars.
A man broke into my apartment and kissed me.
She's hiding a secret you'll want to see.
He's right behind you.
Deal or No Deal, The Apprentice and Medium. All new Monday on NBC.
If it's speed, quality, and reliability you're after in a lawnmower, then look no further. Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower.
It's the hottest team this May. Danica Patrick, Buddy Rice, and Jeff Simmons. Join Dave Calabro and Track Team 13. These racing superstars are reporting from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway during the month of May, keeping you up to speed. No one is covering the track like Ray Hall Letterman Racing and Track Team 13. Watch all month long on Channel 13 Eyewitness News, Indiana's news leader.
It's not that Indianapolis needs more new neighborhoods. It's that we need more great neighborhoods in new places. The neighborhoods of Estridge. Find yours at estridge.com.
Do you know the difference when it comes to your personal transportation needs? A power chair is easily maneuvered in tight spaces with a joystick, while a scooter uses a handlebar and is better suited for outdoor use. At McCrocklin Ford Mobility, we know that everyone's needs differ. That's why we offer the area's largest selection of new and used mobility equipment. And don't forget, McCrocklin is also a Ford dealership and offers a full line of new and used vehicles perfect for a variety of transportation needs. Simply put, when you need to get around to McCrocklin Ford Mobility.
Dr. Oz's 90-day Live Longer, Feel Younger plan. Next, Oprah.
This is the Heineken Premium Light Intermission Report. Here's your host, Bill Clement.
And welcome back, everyone. Former NHLers Ray Ferraro, Eddie Olczyk alongside. Well, yesterday, right here in New York City, the New Jersey Devils completed their sweep of the New York Rangers, winning Game 4 by a score of 4-2. Pierre Maguire was there, and from his inside the glass position at ice level, very unique perspective. Here are Pierre's thoughts on the mighty Devs.
5 things I like about the New Jersey Devils. Their role players, John Madden on faceoffs, Jay Pandolfo on the forecheck and defensive posture, and the biggest one of all, Colin White, the most underrated defenseman in the National Hockey League. He'll be back for the next round. Number 2, when you look at it, the fact of the matter is the New Jersey Devils special teams are exemplary. Number 1 on the power play, number 2 on the penalty kill. They get it done all the time. In the 2006 playoffs, that's critical. Number 3, quick strike offense. Brian Giunta, Scott Gomez, underrated Jamie Langenbrunner. And how about Patrick Elias? Every time he touches the puck, it's to the back of the net. Coaching is such an important intangible in the playoffs. Lou Lamoriello, excellent. John McClain, overwhelmingly good. Jacques Laperriere, 6 Stanley Cups as a player, 2 as a coach. He gets it. The formula's there. And then the last one, a little guy named Marty Brodeur. Not bad. No other goaltender in the 2006 playoffs has his winning pedigree. That's why I like the New Jersey Devils so much.
Lot to like. The Devils, the number 3 seed in the East, advancing, but the number 1 seed, the Ottawa Senators, Ray, also advanced yesterday.
And did so in quite convincing fashion, knocking out the defending champion Tampa Bay Lightning. Everybody talks about the offensive skill that Ottawa has, and they're as talented as anybody. But defensively, they're among the deepest teams in the league. Zdeno Chara, 6'9", is a tower of strength on the blue line. Wade Redden came back from the passing of his mother to have a terrific series. Chris Phillips as well is a terrific defenseman. But when you look at Ottawa, a lot of the questions fall to Ray Emery. Eddie, he was terrific in the first round.
He did, but I think that's the biggest question mark for the Ottawa Senators in goal. But when you think about the Ottawa Senators, Ray, as you mentioned earlier, you talk about the offense, Danny Heatley, Daniel Efferson, but the best player, as you mentioned in the Open today, was Marty Havlat. Here's a player that scored 6 goals in the playoff series. He scores them from all different ways. He has tremendous speed. He has a presence to the net. And don't forget, he missed 58 games in the regular season due to a shoulder injury. But also, they got guys that have grit. Neil, Fisher. Those are the types of players that you have to be able to complement with the offensive players. But again, the biggest question mark I have is the goaltending.
All right, guys, who was the more impressive in the first round? New Jersey or Ottawa?
I got to pick impressive. I'm going to say New Jersey, because I didn't think they would be able to steamroll the Rangers like they did. They were the most surprising team for me, at least.
I'd have to agree with you. But again, we saw it possibly coming with the way that the Rangers limped in to the playoffs, losing 5 in a row. So I'd have to agree with you, Ray. It was the Devils.
Everything that the Devils do, Ottawa has 1 extra player, and if they get together to match up down the line, I like Ottawa's depth a little more.
I like Marty Brodeur.
Perfect. You'll be wrong, I'll be right.
So 2 of the favorites in the Eastern Conference advance. We still don't know about Carolina, Montreal, or for that matter, Philadelphia, Buffalo. Stanley Cup playoffs on NBC will continue right after this.
This has been the Heineken Premium Light Intermission Report. New Heineken Premium Light. Make a smooth introduction.
I know you like me. I know you do. Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? Don't you wish your girlfriend was a freak like me? Don't you wish your girlfriend was raw like me? Don't you wish your girlfriend was fun like me? Don't you?
At AOL, we believe everyone should be fast. That's why we're making it simple for our members to upgrade from dial-up to true broadband. To get AOL high speed for as low as $25.90 a month, sign up now at AOL.com/highspeed. Want a better high-speed internet? You belong at AOL.
If you love the convenience of shopping online, but you want to get a hold of your stuff ASAP, Circuit City makes it simple. Just buy online at CircuitCity.com and choose the in-store pickup option. We're the only place that guarantees your purchase will be ready for pickup in 24 minutes or less. If it's not, we'll give you a $24 gift card. It's that simple. Circuit City.
You have no right to something that is meant for me. So if you push me, I will push back. If you knock me down, I will get up and you will face the wrath of hell. Confucius once said, when anger arises, think of the consequences. So don't make me angry, because you won't like it when I'm angry. This is my Stanley Cup.
All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express permission of the National Hockey League is expressly prohibited.
Wednesday, Law & Order returns with new episodes and a murder that comes out of nowhere.
What the hell?
All new Law & Order Wednesday on NBC.
The mantra is, get Peter Forsberg, don't let him go.
And what you're watching here is a completely typical shift and sequence for Peter Forsberg. This is what happens to Forsberg. You got to stay on him, you got to bang him. He gets the puck, he is going to be physical on you, so you have to be physical on him. You have to stay with him, you have to match his strength, which means you have to have good body positioning, because Peter Forsberg, if you let him go for a second, he's going to get open and he's going to be dangerous. So Forsberg knows, game in, game out, there'll be people on him.
First period stats brought to you by MasterCard. 2 lopsided ones. Shots on goal, 14-3 Sabres. Face-offs, 15 out of 21 by the Flyers. The narrow margin is 1-zip Buffalo.
Between my 2 phone bills, it's probably about $60 a month.
About $150.
Probably $100 a month.
With Vonage, you get unlimited calls to anywhere in the U.S. and Canada, and all the cool features you could ever want are included. And it's just $24.99 a month.
Call 1-800-398-9250 and get your first month free. This offer is also available online and at these fine retailers.
Vonage, leading the internet phone revolution.
Get me closer, man. I smell a Hemi. I knew it! The new Ram 1500 with a new front end. New suspension, new frame. It's got a Hemi, all right. And that MDS to save you gas. Whoa! A new interior. Woo! Sweet! That can't be good.
Find out what it feels like when the job you're looking for finds you. Employers search Monster every day looking for the right candidates. Now if you post your resume on Monster, you double your
A trainer who has overcome incredible obstacles. A once-in-a-lifetime horse of astonishing speed. An inspiring partnership in a quest to capture the elusive Triple Crown. Trainer Dan Hendricks guides Derby favorite Brother Derek in the Run for the Roses at the Kentucky Derby. Presented by Yum Brands. Next Saturday at 5 Eastern on NBC.
The NHL Stanley Cup playoffs on NBC presented by Sprint are brought to you by DHL. Need a delivery by 10:30 a.m.? Mission accepted. DHL accepts the mission of delivering by 10:30 a.m. guaranteed. By Vonage. Vonage, leading the internet phone revolution. By new Heineken Premium Light. Make a smooth introduction. And by Best Buy. Thousands of possibilities. Get yours. Downstairs to Cami Granado.
Well, guys, I talked to the assistant coaches on both teams in the middle of the period there, and Scott Arneal of Buffalo said he wants to, on the power play, he wants Buffalo to work on their zone entries. They're entering their zone and they're giving the puck up, so look for them maybe to dump the puck in and try to outman to get sustained pressure in the zone. On the other hand, Philadelphia just wants the pressure in the offensive zone. They haven't had the puck in the offensive zone long enough. They've got to bring more energy and more puck attacks, win battles to the puck, and keep pressure in their offensive zone.
And off the opening faceoff, that was pretty good reporting by Cammie as she had to bail. She does not have glass in front of her there.
Come on,
Cammie.
Hang in there, Cammie, for crying out loud.
Hey, I played 30 years of hockey with a mask on for a reason.
Here is Rathje a shot, and that ricocheted wide as the Flyers killed off the last 5 seconds of that power play to Buffalo. And now Henrik Telinder brings it ahead for the Sabres. Ex-Rochester American pushed that one back in wide of Esch, taken by Joni Pitkinen, and he can start it back for Philadelphia.
Got so many of these playoff series we're looking at.
Oh, a giveaway, a Finnegan again, slid one between both Roy and Briere.
So many of these playoff series we're looking at have, each game takes on a different personality. In this series, it has been almost a carbon copy every game. Buffalo gets ahead after the first period. They're now outscoring Philadelphia 10-2. Philadelphia mounts some kind of comeback. And, you know, so the games now, players get comfortable inside of that mode. And they get comfortable knowing that, you know, Philadelphia does, they can come back. And this is where Buffalo can really make a statement if they dominate this second period and take away that period that has belonged to Philadelphia.
This is J.P. Dumont lobbing one that's guided away by Esch. Protected by Numminen, played along for Daniel Briere, but it went right by his stick. Chopped back to him, though. Briere handed to Kalinin, to Numminen, and the shot is deflected just wide of Esch in the cage. Now it's a Finnegan again. Misfiring on the pass that went over near Briere. Rolled on back, and Briere tried to get to the front, but Nedved said no. Off of Kapanen, recovered by Numminen. Lobbed on back further and shouldered along by Dumont. And then down went a pair of players. Dumont in front, it's whipped in on Esch, and he's able to grab and hold on. 1-0 Buffalo. Daniel Briere was asked before the game how it was to play with the lead, what they needed to think about.
The first 2 games, obviously, here, the crowd was with us. In Philadelphia, we were just ready to go. And, you know, 3 times out of the 4 times we had the lead, we kind of gave it back. And I don't know if it's lack of experience or what's causing that, but it's something we have to change. And if we want to move ahead here in the playoffs, we have to be able to play with the lead and play better with the lead.
We'll see if they do in this period. That's the point that Peter made earlier, how critical it is in this period for the Sabres to take the Flyers period away from them. First period has been Buffalo's throughout.
But this is the new NHL. Comebacks are commonplace now. It used to be the score would be 2-1. Doc, the game would be over. Save the babysitting money. Send yourself home. And just, you know, you'd read about the score. It would still be 2-1 by the time you get home. Now teams are coming back. 4 times clubs have scored 4 goals and lost games. That never happened in the years past.
Deflected up into the mesh. The initial try by Branko Radivojevic that had to be turned aside by the goalkeeper, Miller. What is the minimum wage that you used to pay? I mean, it's not been that long ago you were hiring babysitters, Peter.
Yes, well, still hiring them. As you look right there, Miller again. Staying focused. We saw him count those guys and know that there was too many men on the ice for the Philadelphia penalty. The situation is he's not facing that many shots. He's angry at himself for the way that he plays. You run it. Just keep working and working to stay physically and mentally in focus.
Briere gave it up to Rathje. Sent across for Forsberg, and he can guide it ahead. Forsberg rifled a pass. Gagne the shot off the glove of Miller. Knuble around to Simon Gagne. Flyers stepping up a bit here, but it's turned back over for the carry out by Derek Roy. Roy trying to shake by. Took a paw in the mush there, and then is crushed up against the boards by Mike Rathje, the big former San Jose Sharks defenseman. And then outletted by Knuble. Skated down by Pitkinen. Offside. You had mentioned this is a tremendous city in which to play hockey. It's also a city that's had some tremendous high school teams that have produced players for the NHL. They had the finals here for the high school championships in the area. Williamsville North, St. Joe's of Buffalo, Kenmore West, and Orchard Park. But the guy who is going to drop the puck right now, a linesman, by the name of Tim Nowak, played for Maryville High School. The Flyers was their nickname, and he was a goalie. I don't know that I've ever known any linesmen or referees that were goalies.
Because you don't naturally think of them as good enough skaters to be the kind of skater you have to be a linesman. Because you got to remember, it's one of the things we always kind of brush off. We look at the referee and make this call, do this call. They're out there the full 60 minutes. They don't get a break. They don't get to go over and change referees. When they put their hand up, they're not looking for a change. They're staying on the ice for the full game. And you talk about these games go into double overtime. That's a long night.
Mike Gilbert, who's in charge of communications here for the Sabres, played for St. Joe's in Buffalo, but that was about 20 years ago. Maybe 30 if we want to kid him. Okay, we've got 3 squirts today, and name these squirts. I'm going to tell you, Pete, I don't have a clue.
I don't have the foggiest. But we got some leadership potential in gentleman to the right, because he was captain even back then.
Uh-huh.
And Daniel Briere, captain of the...
How about that?
Chris Drury and J.P. Dumont.
So that C on the jersey,
yeah, even back then.
Now, at that age, how do they pick a captain? Just the noisiest guy?
No. It's always, back then, it's always the best, the highest scorer. Or your dad's a coach.
A grab by Miller off the shot by Kapanen with 3:35 to go in the second. 1-0 in favor of the Sabres, so you know something about the dad being the coach. I know your father Max is watching today.
Yeah, but it was always this situation, and you know, you look at a guy like Sammy Kapanen in this game right now. You know, this club knows they've got Forsberg. They know that his line will produce something in this game. Otherwise, Miller's going to have to be absolutely spectacular, and the defensive core is going to have to be good. But you need somebody to start stepping up here in Buffalo, because in both of the games, they've only scored 2 goals, 4 goals total here in Buffalo.
Bosted flipped it behind, and it's eventually played by Brian Campbell. Early goings, second period. 2 shots to 5, Buffalo to Philadelphia. This period, Flyers have already generated 8 after getting only 3 in the first period, Cammy.
Philadelphia Flyers have been dominant on the faceoff, 75% in the first period. They won the last 2, one in the defensive zone and one in the offensive zone. They both led the shots on net.
It is Kapanen jostling around behind now with Vanek. And on to the back now for a pass across and a drive by Ludman, and is grabbed and held by Ash on a good setup from Jay McKay. Well, coming to NBC next Saturday, it's the Run for the Roses, the 132nd running of the Kentucky Derby. Brother Derek and Barbaro, both undefeated this year, head to Churchill Downs as the favorites, but only one can leave with a shot at the elusive Triple Crown. 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on NBC. And I guarantee you that the longtime Sabres announcer, Rick Jenneret, has a tremendous interest in a lot of horse races, but particularly the Kentucky Derby. He'll be watching. We hope you do too.
That's a big hit by number 74, Jay McKee. We should mention the fact from McKee, he led the NHL in block shots, which is no mean feat. You are sacrificing yourself. If you watch these guys shoot in warm-up, they fire peas. And that little puck, it's only 5.5, 6 ounces, 3.5 inches across. That hurts, Doc, let me tell you. I blocked 1 in my career, and I said, that's enough.
Jay McKee has an overtime winner for the Buffalo Sabres in one of the prior playoff series against the Philadelphia Flyers.
It's interesting, though, and one of the things that's really it's been downplayed or not talked that much about so far in these playoffs. These defensive cores have done a great job. Both defenses have had a goal, 9 assists, 10 points through the first 4 games. That is great production.
What would you think of in the old NHL that would be good after you played 4 games there?
If you had a even strength goal and 3 assists, you'd be thinking, you know what? Our guys are really jumping up, really contributing. Because the one...
We have a puck shot over the glass into the seats, and that will be the first minor penalty to Buffalo today.
Just finishing up the thought about the goal scoring. In years, 3-2 is always the score. That's the most common score in the National Hockey League. For too many years, and I mean far too many, the next most common score was 2-1. Now it's 4-3. The league has gone the other way, and that's the good way to go. That's the storyline way to go. That's, if it stays at 2-1, make it a goaltending battle that you remember, not that one that bores you to tears. When it gets to 4-3, that means your guys are scoring. You've got somebody to talk about. You got something to talk about the game.
Sammy Kapanen on the power play for the Flyers. Big opportunity presented here by the puck being lofted over the glass cleanly out of the defensive zone, beginning this year a penalty. Before, it was just when a goaltender did it. That's the 11th time in these playoffs, and only one goalie has been guilty. Around with this now, and being checked towards was Umberger. They circle, and it's Nedved. Pop one that bounced back to center. And so it must be replayed now by Sammy Kapanen. Umberger up front, along with Jeff Carter, who's just taken the puck. And a steal as the pass intended for Nedved is flagged down. But we get an offside call against the Sabres. They were in the midst of changing, and their gate is inside the blue line when they changed, Cammie.
And Buffalo not happy with that on the bench here. One of the things that you look at with Buffalo's penalty kill is they're so aggressive. They had the best penalty kill in the East during the season, and what they're doing here, especially at the beginning of this penalty kill, is they're keeping Philly out to the perimeter of the ice, and they're pressuring them, and they're pressuring the puck every chance they get.
And this gets back to that theme for this Buffalo club speak. They are quick to attack you because they can be quick to adjust.
This is Peter Forsberg, then Gagne, then Kapanen, then Desjardins. Back again to, I beg your pardon, Freddie Meyer. Then to Desjardins once more. Meyer has taken that left point position that Kapanen has had. Now along to the outside, Forsberg. Swept across by Knuble, taken on by Gagne. Feeds to the back to Desjardins. Right back across to Meyer again. Meyer to Desjardins. Sabres are happy to just see them pass it to the outside. They kept them near the boards in the blue line. Good challenge by Ludman. Commenville is hit. To the back now, Desjardins. To the last half minute of an uneventful power play so far. Wrist shot in front, and that went off Knuble. To the corner, rocking in were Forsberg and Kalinder. Out of a 5-man scrum, it popped up high, and they rule it went off the mesh, and so play is stopped. Well, that's a good kill. I mean, forcing them to the outside, they really didn't have a good chance there.
They forced him to the outside, and they were aggressive when they were on the outside. Philadelphia, key, when you're going to attack, you got to make sure the man doesn't have complete control. When the Philadelphia Flyer player just bobbled it for a second, then you attack. You come hard. You do not get halfway there.
Here is Pitkin, and he wanted the first shot. Worms around, forehander, and that held by Miller.
Well, you're watching goaltending around the league. If these goaltenders, you know, you talk to goaltenders, they have a great awareness of other goaltenders. And the guy that's being talked about right now is Martin Brodeur, the New Jersey Devils. Everybody realizes if they're going to get by the Devils, who have now already advanced, somebody's going to have to find a way to solve the Martin Brodeur puzzle.
Stepping to the front, but repeatedly unable to get a shot away was Dimitrakos. Again, some strong defense by Buffalo. Well, the team in the first round did not find a way to do it. The Rangers were able to score 4 against Brodeur in 4 games. Here's Richards, a shot, and that one ricocheted perhaps off the helmet of Miller. Another try, and he got a piece of that one. So the tests are coming more frequently now for Ryan Miller, the young man out of Michigan State. Tipped to the corner and battled for there. Eventually, the Sabres can outlet penalty time up. Charging ahead is Paul Gaustad. Ladles it in and goes right after it, but his team is making a change, and so he has to take that shoulder from Rathke. They get a Finneganoff back out there. It's fed to him for the shot that ricocheted off the defense. Rushed back along and reaching in for it is Pitkin, who got a piece of that. A Finneganoff nudges one side of the net, spun by Briere, taken by Dumont. Back to Campbell for a drive. The off a skate. Penalty coming up against Philadelphia. A tripping call. Power play coming up for the Sabres. 8:10 gone in the second, and they lead 1-0.
Hey, the guys are coming over to watch the game. Aren't you worried about them drinking all the Bud Light?
Not to worry. Look what I had installed.
A secret revolving wall. Dude, you're a genius.
Guys, hurry up! The Magic
refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Magic Fridge. Magic Fridge.
Entertainment for the bus ride to the Clippers away game. $140. 1 bag of cheese doodles, Sour Patch Kids, and pop, $25. Motel rooms for the night, $240. Knowing there's a big clean sheet of ice waiting on the other end, priceless. There are some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard, fan of the NHL and those who love hockey above all else.
Susu, if I take this left, will that get us to the restaurant? Oh, Susu, I missed that. I missed a turn. We need a new rouge. Susu, can I take this right? Susu, I think this looks familiar. Should I be turning here?
We're totally lost, aren't we?
Susu, we're lost.
If you miss a turn, remember, the easiest way to get a new route is TomTom, not Susu. Just tap on the screen, and a helpful voice guides you wherever you want to go. TomTom is your portable, everyday GPS solution.
Next week, it's Dance or No Dance.
Keep dancing like that, he'll give you money $1 at a time.
All new Deal or No Deal, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on NBC.
A great look at this play right here that leads to the Philadelphia power play. Briere just takes Rafji down to Rafji. Kind of interesting how clubs are made up. McKee right there, cut. Now, he's one of their big penalty killers. And the big key right here, Doc, is last time Philadelphia couldn't start Forsberg's line on the power play. So this time they can.
And he brings it ahead. Not from his stick, though, by Connolly. Lob back out. Boston charging after it, and Edge will protect.
Doc, he almost played that in that area where if a goaltender does play it, it's a penalty.
The area outside the trapezoid and behind the end line. So Meyer will go back. He and Kapanen, Forsberg, and Knuble, and Gagne. Most productive Flyers are out there right now. As Freddie Meyer forehands one that's snapped up and held by Miller. Not a bad start. Get the face-off in.
Get the face-off in. But what you're seeing right now for Buffalo, they said they spent too much time dealing with Peter Forsberg. Players were coming at him. You have to, at some point, trust each other and allow one player to be that guy that takes Peter Forsberg. Because if you attack with 2-3 guys, that's when he's going to find that open guy. And Buffalo right now, they are 29 minutes of almost picture-perfect hockey.
Desjardins slides it across. Pitkin in a drive, and that blocked in front came to Chris Drury, and he cleared. Pitched along by Robert Esch. Played behind by Pitkin, and he was slammed by Greer. Greer and Drury up front for the shorthanded Sabres. Flyers on their power play, 3 for 22 in the series. Drive by Umberger is saved by Miller. Well, he's had several confidence-building saves here, Miller has. Did not have to take that one, though. It didn't get all the way through.
It's one of those things from the point, though. The puck was shot low. Players in front never mind. When a puck comes through, if it happens hitting the shin pad or in the foot. What you hate are those guys that go head hunt. You know, they're going to fire that nice shot that puts me under the crossbar when you're standing there getting yourself whacked from behind and knocked down. All of a sudden, just a rocket comes flying through head high. That's when you talk to that defenseman.
Before 1979, it was optional for you to wear a helmet. Then it became the guys coming into the league after 79 that had to. The last was Greg McTavish, whose Edmonton Oilers have a 3-2 lead on the Philadelphia Flyers. Game 6 going back to Edmonton tomorrow night.
It was grandfathered in 1979. Happened to be Ray Bork's first year. You wonder if Visors aren't going to be grandfathered in pretty soon, Doc.
Forsberg across. Gagne's shot hopped off Kalinin, battled for, and Forsberg turns. He's got a man, can't get it there. Now it's Knuble feeding to Forsberg. Broken stick nearby. Coming by from his knees, pitching it back out. And a break ahead for Briere. A penalty coming up on the Flyers. And they eventually have touched. Penalty box empty of one. We'll get another on the other side. 1-0 Sabres midway in the second.
Hi.
This Nextel calling plan is great.
Yeah.
So all incoming calls are free, plus I get unlimited Nextel walkie-talkie?
That's right.
Kind of makes you want to jump up and down and scream for joy.
We have an area for that right over here.
Free incoming calls from anyone, anywhere, plus unlimited walkie-talkie, just $39.99. Available on Sprint or Nextel products.
Calories provide energy, but how much energy do you need? Powerade Option, the low-calorie sports drink.
At AOL, we believe everyone should be fast. That's why we're making it simple for our members to upgrade from dial-up to true broadband. To get AOL high speed for as low as $25.90 a month, sign up now at AOL.com/highspeed. Want a better high-speed internet? You belong at AOL.
Stubborn warts? Why wait for a doctor when you can do the same treatment at home? Introducing Dr. Scholl's Dual Action Freeze Away. It's twice as effective as freezing alone. It combines freeze technology and a maximum strength liquid. To remove large warts, see the doctor. Dr. Scholl's.
Guys, turnaround moments in hockey games. Buffalo kills off a penalty. Now they go on the power play. Forsberg's going to say maybe there's a little dive there. He just pleads his case to the referee. To no avail, and now Buffalo goes on the power play. So instead of a Philadelphia power play goal, it's 1-1. Can Buffalo put the pedal down and make it 2-zip in this hockey game?
Vanek back to Kotolik. Hands it across for control now, and it's dealt on by Numminen. Gets it back again. Has Kotolik for the drive, and the cover in the chest by Esch. In all of these games played so far in the playoffs, only 3 diving minors have been called and 1 to a goalie.
And one of the things about the players, they have adjusted. You may see the players, as Ash real strong in this game. The players complain, but after the game, the one thing that has been universal, keep making the calls, keep making the calls. Every once in a while, you'll talk to a player, but it's usually somebody that's taken 4 penalties in the game.
Here's Kotolik giving it across to Numminen again. Teppo Numminen has been playing regular today. Drive by Kotolik, ricocheted off of Peter Nedved. Then sent back to Numminen. Broken stick for Kotolik. He has had time to retrieve one from the bench. Regains his position. Numminen plays it the other way this time. Dealt back in for the pass that came back across from Briere. Fed across for a forehand shot by Kotolik that is blocked again. Twisted back on, more trouble. Spun across by Thomas Vanek and taken again by a Finneganov. Then to the back it comes. Numminen a shot. Knocked down in front. Diving play. Vanek again. Side of the net. It's sent wide by Kotolik. Gostad doing his number at the front of the net, blocking the view of Edge. Has that one screamed by both of them and got the glass.
They're trying to get that big shot to Kotolik, and that's going to a strength.
Buffalo's doing a tremendous job in the offensive zone here on this power play. They made an adjustment. They put, after going 0 for 7 in the third game, they scored 2 goals in game 4, and they're doing the same thing by putting someone in front of the net and another player in the high slot. So they're stacking 2 players in the front of in this high slot.
And what that does, Cammie, it's a double-edged sword for Philadelphia. You've got the guy screening your goaltender, tying up one of the defensemen. And plus, if the rebound does come to the man in front that's being tied up, he can either dump it on net or chip it to that player that's a little farther out. And also, that Kotolik, it has a cannon from the point. So all the goaltender can hope to do is make the shot and your teammates find that rebound.
Here it's held and driven by Connolly. Oh, and hurt on the play is Jesus, the very valuable penalty killer. Shaken up but still out there. Campbell hands it over to Briere. Briere dealt it in. Drury, a rising shot at ricochet off of Ash and careened back down.
And you almost won. That's Chris Drury, Olympic player for USA. Robert Ash, Olympic player for USA. It almost looked as Drury was thinking, you know what? Robert pulls away from the net and waited for a little chance.
Flipped on by Lutman, another Olympian. It's been across to Briere. Fan, then shot. That one kicked aside by Desjardins on defense. Penalty time is up. Worked across to the front. Shot. And that blocked down. Another try by Drury. That was blocked by Desjardins. Twisted wide by Briere on the backhand. And now it is Kapanen to settle it down. Desjardins brings it ahead. Spirited back one for the plate of Forsberg. Left it for Gagne. Did not see it coming. Oh, what a collision between Dumont and Forsberg. Now back ahead comes Greer. Moves out with Gaustad and flops it in. The big 6'4", 225-pound forward for the Sabres. Punched it along, but it careened back over for Umberger. Then ahead now for Carter. Sized up by the defense, and a shot went off the defense and trickled across the net now wide. Knuble held off by Kalinder. Escapes, but only so far. Newman and hands back ahead, and it's carried back out by Taylor Pyatt. Spirited back in, and it careened to Esch. Robert Esch backhands it through the traffic. It comes back for control now by McKee. Swung it across and got it back again. The veteran defenseman played it back along, but it went off of Gaustad, and for the third time in the game has struck the referee and taken a Philadelphia penalty. Not all the way to their control, but at least slowed down the Sabres attack. To the back it comes for McKee's shot, and that blocked aside. Eventually filtered back for the turn by Radomojevic with under 6 minutes to go in the second, and the score still the same at 1-0 Sabres. The goal scored by Connolly at 6:05 of the first.
You can see why Buffalo's defense has been so involved in the offense of this series. They're doing a great job, the Buffalo forwards, of taking a hit and moving the puck back to the point men who are getting that quick shot into the net.
Quick turn back ahead for the Sabres again. Laid past Derek Roy. Roy able to step right to it past Rathke. Couldn't center it in front because Rathke's big body was in the way. Now controlled by a Finnegan off, spun on to Roy. Chopped along and protected, though nudged down on the play, was Thomas Vanek. Tumbling to the ice is Roy. And across it comes to Flyer possession. So on balance, who wins the period? No one has scored just yet with a little over 5 minutes to go. We'll get the answer to that when we come back. HSBC Arena here in Buffalo has seen the home team ahead by 1.
The Stanley Cup playoffs on NBC, presented by Sprint, next Saturday and Sunday, 2 Eastern.
Attention passengers. We are currently experiencing delays. We apologize for the inconvenience.
At the end of a long, hot day, grab the beer that starts out cold and ends up refreshing. Coors Light. Taste the cold.
We're back with the Geico Gecko. So now here's the thing I don't understand. People could save hundreds of dollars on car insurance by switching to Geico.
Right.
So I have to ask, why does Geico even need a talking gecko?
Well, entertainment.
How's that?
Look, you can't just tell people that Geico could save them money. It's true, yes, but it's a bit boring. So you have a little gecko entertain, play a little guitar or whatever. They think they're watching entertaining television, but they're actually watching a commercial.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
This is the awesome Cadillac Escalade. And these are the keys to the awesome Cadillac Escalade. Play in PartyPoker.net's Win a Cadillac promotion, and you could win a brand new 2007 Cadillac Escalade. And there's a whole bunch of other great prizes. So sign up at PartyPoker.net now. PartyPoker.net, the world's largest poker school.
Olympic gold medalist Justin Gatlin and Sean Crawford lead the USA versus the world in the largest and most storied event of its kind, the Penn Relays, coming up next on NBC.
They have been watching hockey here in Buffalo, played in the NHL since 1970. They have seen some tremendous teams. This one started the year with 17 players in their late 20s. That's a good blend of experience, having been somewhere before, and skill. 17 players from 25 to 29 began the year here. It sure helps to get somebody like Newman in to bring some experience to the defense corps. Time to take a look at our Coors Light Cold Blast, and for that, we go to a bunch of blasts that have nothing to do with sticks and pucks.
But, Doc, what you got on these hits are guys that range all the way from 225 pounds like Greer to 175 pounds from Briere. That's one of the beauties of this game of hockey. It's not just for the big guy. You've got Gianta in New Jersey playing beautiful hockey. He's 5'7". You've got Briere, captain of this club, great skill. He's not a big guy. It is not a dominated sport by big guys. You got to have that big heart to play this game.
Well, you've seen lines put together this year that have all three forwards under 6 feet and under 200 pounds, and you never saw that. Here's a chance in front, and Miller made the stop and then reached out and grabbed. Let's check in with a guy that scored a cup clinching goal here in Buffalo, Bill Clement.
All right, Doc, in Dallas, the Stars drew first blood in the second period, but then the Avs countered. Carlos Skrastink just threw a puck at Marty Turco's feet, and Jim Dowd finished it off. It's 1-1. Back to Doc, Peter, and Cammy in Buffalo.
All right, so that one is even up there. Back across the parking lot at the Old Odd, the first goal scored in a clinching game by the Flyers was by the hound, Bob Kelly. Bobby Clark took care of Jerry Korath behind the net so that Kelly could do a wraparound and beat Roger Crozier, and then Bill Clement got the second one on a breakaway. Whereas Kindrechuk took the hit on that one, so that Clement got a breakaway and scored what turned out to be the last goal in that 1975 final series, 2-0.
And Bob Kelly is now the ambassador of hockey for the Philadelphia Flyers. He is in charge of community relations, and nobody better.
This will be icing as it's touched up. When you played against Bob Kelly, was he an ambassador of goodwill?
No, he was not an ambassador. He was ambassador of the wall. He would just run you right through. He would come, and the thing about, he was about as unsubtle as you could possibly be. You would hear him coming from about 100 feet.
Coming up on our Dodge Intermission Report, that old Flyer Bill Clement, Ray Ferraro, and Ed Olczyk with highlights from today's games and a close-up look at the playoffs. That's coming up on our Dodge Intermission Report. I heard Bob Kelly described once as the human bowling ball.
And they had this play just to start the game. Bobby Clark would take the draw, and you'd think a normal draw, you'd win it straight back. No, he pushed it forward into your corner, so the fence would have to turn and go back, and Bob Kelly would just come rampant and set the tone, the old Spectrum.
That play still stands and is the home to the Flyers farm team, the Phantoms. A drive by Kapanen that went wide. They won the Calder Cup last year with guys like Mike Richards and Jeff Carter in the lineup. This is turned back on now to Savage. Lays it ahead for control, but a loss by Sammy Kapanen. Turned right back into him, but a quick recovery by J.P. Dumont onto a Miniganoff and back deep. Big Darian Hatcher, young man out of the state of Michigan, brings it ahead and hands it on now to Brian Savage. Forehander, and a good one tackled away artfully by Miller. Finesse move came right in on him as Kapanen was trying to get loose, and the puck wound up in the paraphernalia of Miller.
One of the things you have to like about these two goaltenders, you know, Ash coming back here after not a good game 2. Miller after game 3 and 4 where he felt he left in a soft goal. Both are building confidence as this game goes along.
Well, Peter, the storyline here in the second period is the goaltenders, both Robert Esche and Ryan Miller, standing tall for their clubs. And this is a big test for Ryan Miller. He faced some adversity in game 4 with what he called a weak goal. He's been tested here in the second, and so far he's rising to the occasion. He's rising to this test.
13 shots by the Flyers on him, and he's gotten them all as he has kept the Flyer side of the scoreboard empty. It's Connolly banked one behind that is taken there and controlled through traffic and fed in front, but tangled up in the feet of the Buffalo attacker at the front of the cage, and that was Kotelik. Meanwhile, across it comes, back to Kotelik again. Alex Kotelik trying to fend off the defender. Now gives to the back for Kalinin. Then across for a shovel shot that's trapped in the chest of Robert Esche.
We talked about those shots going over the glass. Lidman did take one of those in penalty one that led to the game-tying goal for Philadelphia. But here's Esche, and again, he was magnificent in game 1. 58 shots, 55 saves, a tough 3-2 loss. Briere scored in double overtime. And we mentioned that, you know, there was talk, was Esche going to be their playoff goaltender? All you have to do is go back to 04 when Tampa Bay won the Cup, and Esche was 11-7 in the playoffs. He lost a tough Game 7, 2-1 to Tampa Bay. He has the experience and the confidence. Here it is, Doc. I mean, if There's playoff hockey, isn't it? I mean, that is what you're used to, and nothing afterwards. No pushing and shoving. You come in, you hit, you whack, you stand up, you go to the face-off.
Well, the other thing, too, is that historically here at the old place and at this one, the hits sound like hits because there's give in the boards and glass and there's lots of noise that comes from it. Sure adds to some of the drama and entertainment value. When you can sit in the top row and almost feel the hit that's coming. You can certainly hear it.
The most forgiving glass in all of hockey was the old Buffalo Arc. You'd get hit in the boards there. You would talk to the people in the second row. Say, hey, yeah, it's good seeing you. Everything okay? And then you'd be flung back into the ice surface.
Well, that was pretty good cushion on the hit that came to Mike Greer a moment ago as right back in comes Kapanen. Closed off, but he escapes the close off of Roy. Played back on by Teppo Numminen. It bounced onto Forsberg. Defended there by Numminen. Pushed onto the back once more. Here's Hatcher shoveling one that he was trying a deflection, hoping it would come from Kapanen. It did not. Sabres able to push it back ahead. Derek Roy saw that one go off the linesman's skate. Bad luck for the men in stripes today in terms of Sabres passes. A turnover. It's Nedved, and down it went off of Miller and the pipe. Played back ahead by Roy again. A penalty coming up for the Flyers. Kapanen tries to take Roy out of the play. It's touched by Ash. 58.3 to go in the second, and the Sabres to get a power play. A remarkable collection of chaos.
Well, Ken Hitchcock and Lindy Ruff, after game 2, that was a runaway for Buffalo. Exchanged words, but that's what coaches are going to do.
Philadelphia penalty, 2 minutes, goaltender interference.
Little bit of a giveaway. And this is the first shot, I believe, from the slot area that Philadelphia has had in this game. That's how well Buffalo has played defensively in their own zone. It was deflected off the post and wide. Just off the side. And there the man, but Sabres saying, hey, I was powered through. The man cross-checked me through. There's a hit on Forsberg. Forsberg going off the ice, cross-checked Greer, just on the side and opposite. And so, you know, Greer and Forsberg, you start really creating little rivalries inside of the game.
Well, it is hockey out of Deuteronomy, isn't it? Eyes for eyes, teeth for teeth. You don't want anybody to have the upper hand, especially in a 1-0 playoff game when it is 2 games, 1 apiece.
In this game, you have to figure a little bit the pressure is more on Buffalo. Philadelphia wins, you're going back to the Spectrum. That's a tough place to win. Although Buffalo had a great season on the road with 25 road victories this year. But here's the continuation of the play. Now Forsberg upset. And that is the, you know, that's the one where the referee is looking at you. Where do you draw the line? I mean, because you obviously brought the stick up on the guy, but you just kind of let that kind of thing go. Forsberg, of course, signed as a free agent, a 2-year contract with Philadelphia. Here's a collision.
Now that's the one that apparently has caused the problem with the glass that it will take a moment to deal with here. But I think we were talking earlier about the value that Peter Forsberg has to a team, despite the fact that he does get hurt during the regular season. But at playoff time, this is the time that he is very hard to hurt.
And the thing about that, too, is that he has developed such a reputation that you've got young guys like Carter and Richards. And when they're watching and how to prepare for the playoffs, because everybody knows how much different it is in the playoffs, you watch a guy like Peter Forsberg.
Colorado and Dallas are playing in their contest. It is 1-1 in the second period of their game. It is late in the second period here with the Buffalo Sabres ahead of the Philadelphia Flyers by a count of 1-0. They are going to do a glass change here, and then Buffalo will be going on the power play. So a very important time in the game for the Sabres here if they want to take that lead and force Philadelphia back home and in danger of elimination. So in the meantime, we're going to show you some abs and stars with Dave Strader.
And we welcome those of you that have been watching the Philadelphia Flyers and the Buffalo Sabres. Dave Strader, Brian Hayward, and Joe Micheletti, our man inside the glass. This game is 1-1 here. Late in the second period of Game 5 of this Western Conference quarterfinal series. An elimination game as the Avalanche have a 3-1 lead.
And what a game it has been, especially in this second period. Both clubs outstanding scoring chances. Both goaltenders have been brilliant.
Bonanno hands it off. Hagman had it knocked away. And back comes LePerrier now for Tanguay. Tanguay sends it across. Here's a chance for Richardson in the glove of Turco, and he holds it there.
It's also been a physical game. Watch Philippe Boucher step up on Dan Heino. As Joe Micheletti pointed out, Heino got a yell from the bench at the last second. You saw him get the head up, but Boucher just ran right over top of him. They don't love to get a good lick on Dan Heino, because that is what he is pretty well known for. He's a very aggressive forechecking forward for Colorado.
After a scoreless first period, Jussi Jokinen scoring on the power play for Dallas, and then Jim Dowd during a 4-on-4 skating situation tied the game for Colorado. Here's Bonanno, backhand shot, easily steered aside by Theodore. As we approach a minute and a half remaining here in the second period, Hagman behind the net trying to tuck it in front. Good defensive, aggressive play by LePerrier, who dumps it out to center ice, and now Lettinen dumps it back into the Colorado zone. And those of you that have been watching Buffalo and Philadelphia, we send you back to Game 5 of that game with Doc and Peter McNabb.
Savage goaltender interference, glass repair. The first plexiglass in the NHL, Toronto in 1948. It became mandatory in the 50s. Before that time, wire screens. So they never had to change the wire screen panels back when Peter's father played and was winning a Stanley Cup in Detroit. Occasionally the wire would break and they just mend it back together. It would present some very uneven dump-ins.
Well, that was back talking. The goaltenders didn't wear masks and wait for them to be stitched up when they were cut. There was only one goaltender.
This is a fairly light delay compared to that. Here's Briere crossing, Benedict crossing.
Now Briere makes this play. This is a hockey player's play. Briere comes across. He's going to get the puck down low. Now Briere will wait. He takes a little poke right here. And now he comes across right there. There's the play, Doc. You freeze the defenseman. You freeze the goaltender. Dumont fires it home. Great goal for Dumont. But right there, what a play. You saw 3 Philadelphia players pulled across. You got to respect that Briere has a chance to go to the back end. Good positioning by Dumont. You saw how he stayed square to the pass coming across. He had the stick down. That old line, some of them still work. Give the passer a target. And Dumont did on that. He picked up his 4th goal of these playoffs and a huge one as we approach the second intermission.
3rd power play goal for him in the series. His team power play wise has collected half a dozen. So now it's Drury, armed with a tremendous cushion in a goaltender's battle that saw Philadelphia out Buffalo 13-5 in this period before Dumont got the half-dozen goal, or the half-dozen shot, I should say. And now Freddie Meyer in the last 15 plays it back out. Maybe it seems like only a goal, but it seems to strike this crowd and perhaps the Sabres like 2.
When you look at it, Philadelphia played a much better second period. Maybe feels they deserved a better fate than that. They had scored well in the second period, but it's Buffalo who gets the late power play goal.
Fans are standing and waving pom-poms here to salute the home team. Though outshot 14-6 in the second period by Philadelphia, they've gotten a goal in both periods and both times on the power play. J.P. Dumont with his 4th of the series and his 3rd power play goal. Tim Connolly, who got the first goal, is downstairs with Cammie.
Well, Tim, your day started out interesting. You took a puck in the face in warm-up, but I guess warm-up is overrated. You went out and scored a goal. Were you surprised how much room you had?
Yeah, they kind of backed off, let me walk it in. I was looking to pass it, but they gave me a lot of room there, and I got to take that shot.
With the 2-goal lead going into the 3rd period, is that enough to beat this team?
Well, we're going to have to play smart. We're going to have to get pucks deep. We can't have any turnovers. We want to play a safe, conservative game. At the same time, though, when we do get a chance, we really want to go for it and try and get the next goal.
Thanks a lot for your time, Tim. Doc?
Connolly at 6:05 of the first. Dumont at 19:13 of the second. 2-0 Buffalo. Stay tuned for the Dodge Intermission Report with Bill, Ray, and Ed. But first, these messages. You're watching the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs on NBC.
Follow your team wherever you are, all season long, with XM Satellite Radio.
I gotta tell you, I think it's still going!
XM Satellite Radio. Listen large.
Me? I'm a problem solver. There's a problem, I solve it. One problem I thought I'd solved? My acid reflux disease. I thought it was just bad heartburn. But when I went back to my doctor, he told me over time stomach acid had damaged the lining of my esophagus. He prescribed Nexium. Said I needed more than heartburn relief. My esophagus needed repair. Nexium healed the erosions in my esophagus. And one prescription Nexium pill a day keeps me healed and relieves my heartburn. So I don't just feel better, I am better. My doctor did say other serious stomach conditions may still exist, and headache, diarrhea, and abdominal pain could be side effects of Nexium.
Talk to your doctor about Nexium and find out if a free trial is right for you.
Even the best problem solvers need a little help sometimes.
Nexium, the healing purple pill. If you can't afford your medications, AstraZeneca may be able to help.
Let's see, we got Vonage a couple of months ago. It was easy to install. I mean, I'm not really technical, like, at all, and I did it myself. Look, so I just used our old phone, and it costs less, too. It's just $24.99 a month, and that includes voicemail, call waiting, caller ID, and a lot more at no extra charge. So we just love it.
We're not out to change the world, just the way you talk to it. Sign up now and get your first month free. Call 1-800-398-9250. High-speed internet connection required.
Tuesday on an all-new Scrubs, can Dr. Cox bounce back from his worst day ever?
Shake it off. It's not like it killed a guy. Yikes. I'm gonna get going.
Then it's prom night on Teachers.
We didn't actually have proms in England. They were bigger, and we called them balls.
Really? Why don't you tell us about your English balls?
New comedy, NBC Tuesday.
This is the Dodge Intermission Report.
And welcome back, everyone. Bill Clement with Ray Ferraro and Eddie Olczyk. Well, in the Western Conference, things have gotten pretty interesting in the Detroit-Edmonton series. Edmonton won Game 5. They lead that series 3-2. If Detroit loses this series, they will become the 7th #1 seed to go out in the first round since the current playoff format came into being in 1994. And when you watch these games, important area of the ice, obviously, Ray, as we know, is the trenches in front of both goals, and the Oilers appear to own that area.
Well, they've done a good job controlling everything in front of their goaltender, Dwayne Rollison, but where in particular they've entirely owned this series is in front of the Detroit goal. It seems every goal that the Oilers score comes from about 3 feet in front of Manny Legacy. These are the 3 that the Oilers won on yesterday afternoon. Legacy doesn't have a chance on any of them. And as we talk about playoff intensity and the little battles that have to be won or lost, the Oilers are winning almost all of them, Eddie, and they're all coming in front of the Detroit goal.
Well, let's not forget, this is the #1 team in the National Hockey League. And I think to this point, when you look at the success or the lack thereof for the Detroit Red Wings, their star players have played well. Henrik Zetterberg with 5 goals. You look at Matthew Schneider, defenseman, with 7 points. But to me, the reason why they're down in this series is that the role players, Michael Samuelsson and also Jason Williams, 44 goals between the two of them in the regular season, 1 goal between the both of them. When you're the best team in the National Hockey, you need the role players to step up, and to this point, they have not.
What about goaltending? Dwayne Rollison was acquired by the Edmonton Oilers to stop pucks in the playoffs, and he has done that. A lot of people in Detroit pointing the finger at Manny Legacy.
Partly. I think Rollison has outplayed Manny Legacy to this point. I think he's been part of the problem, but also I think he can be part of the solution to get it back to Game 7 in Detroit.
Well, I don't think you can hang this on Legacy, though. As much as he has been outplayed by Rollison, his goaltending for the most part has been okay. Somebody for Detroit, other than Chris Chelios, get your hands dirty. They're not going into any of the traffic areas. I played against Mike Babcock. You know him very well. He cannot be happy with the way they've competed off the puck.
I give him a big shot tomorrow night.
That area in the trenches, though, in front of the net, I mean, you can't change the spots on a Leopard usually at this time of year. How do the Detroit defensemen get big and bad enough to start, you know, boxing people out?
Start wanting the puck more. You can't push the guy away like you used to be able to. So now get yourself into position where you're able to box a forward away, battle for the puck a little harder than the Oilers are battling for it because they're not winning any of them.
And I think they're a dangerous team because they are going to be desperate. And to me, that's the biggest key, is I think we will see them rise to the occasion. It's going to be in a hostile environment in Edmonton. And Ray, you know this following a lot of the games over the course of the season. That's an unbelievable place to play. And again, I expect Detroit to play much better in Game 6.
As expected, the plot thickens as it does every year when each series moves forward, including the Detroit-Edmonton series. We've got 2 Game 5s for you today, and the Stanley Cup playoffs and NBC will continue right after this.
Tonight, a night of all-new drama on NBC. First, a West Wing former opponent could be the next vice president.
I want you to do the job.
Then, Law & Order Criminal Intent ripped from the headlines. A cruise ship murder goes overboard.
Who said anything about murder?
And Crossing Jordan, a normal day on the job, ends as a kidnapping.
Garrett, call me back.
All new West Wing, Criminal Intent and Crossing Jordan, tonight on NBC.
If it's speed, quality, and reliability you're after in a lawnmower, then look no further. Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower.
Isn't it about time you started enjoying the great outdoors? At McCrocklin Ford and Mobility, we have the means of getting you where you need to go. With the largest stock of mobility products in the state, you can be sure to find something just right for you. For a limited time, come check out our large selection of pre-owned scooters and power chairs with green tag savings. You have always heard that green means go, and now you can save some too. So why not go to McCrocklin Ford and Mobility in Middletown?
Our hometown. We all remember what that feels like. And part of us is always trying to get back there. The neighborhoods of Estridge. Find yours at estridge.com.
Nice shot.
Thank you.
Is your game ready? The Youth Links Indiana Charity Golf Tournament, June 25th and 26th. Call 237-5000 to enter your foursome. Youth Links Indiana, having fun, helping kids.
Watch your backspin on this one, boys.
Pacers playoff coverage tonight at 11 on the Sports Jam.
This is the Dodge Intermission Report.
Flyers and Sabres tied at 2 in the series, but Buffalo scored late in the second period. They now lead the Flyers going into the third by a score of 2-0. Meanwhile, another Game 5, Colorado in Dallas.
We watch Marty Turco dive around in the first period. He does it again here. He looks like a bowl of Jell-O without the bowl, but somehow the puck stays out of the net. I don't know if this is great goaltending posture, Eddie, but the puck stays clear of the Dallas goal.
It's always about food, Ray, isn't it?
Always, always. Got to be hungry. Here's Jussi Jokinen, a beautiful move on the breakaway. He beats Theodore, and Dallas has that all-important 1-0 lead.
Well, just throw the puck to the net, and great things happen. Jim Dowd picks up a shot by Carlos Grashins in front of net, tied up at 1.
Well, we saw Turco diving around and the puck staying out of the net. Well, Joe Sakic, with 1.4 seconds left, gives Colorado a 2-1 lead after 2 periods of play. I have no idea, Bill, what Marty Turco is doing, diving around the net like that. He does not play that scrambly in the regular season, but he has done it in the game and in this series. This is not NHL goaltending by Marty Turco, and it is killing the Dallas Stars.
Well, the spotlight has been shining on Marty Turco this whole series, and right now the spotlight appears to be scalding him. All right, let's talk Philadelphia Buffalo. The Flyers have been down in the third period in this series before, but that was at home. They're down 2-0 on the road. How much tougher to come back on the road?
Well, I think very difficult, because I think out of the 5 games that we've watched so far in this series, I think this is really the game that sticks out to me, where it really shows that Buffalo is a much quicker team today over the Philadelphia Flyers, and that's a serious concern for the Flyers.
If the Flyers are going to get back in, I guess you're going to see a lot of number 21, Peter Forsberg, on the ice. I mean, would you take him off, Eddie? You're a coach.
No, absolutely not. I think you got to ride him. But again, I think in this series, and you see what's happening in a lot of situations, when Philadelphia doesn't have any pressure right now, they're setting back, almost like what Edmonton is doing to Detroit. No pressure, just kind of sit back mode and wait for Buffalo to make a mistake.
Ray, you got coaching potential, too. That's a great idea to play Peter Forsberg.
You think? He's the guy.
I think that's,
we know it.
It's unbelievable. I'll let you guys get back to the lunchroom since you want to talk about food, okay? The NHL Stanley Cup playoffs will continue on NBC right after this.
This has been the Dodge Intermission Report. Dodge, grab life by the horns.
Joe, you're glad we got the Durango, right?
Of course.
And you liked all the money we saved when we bought it, right?
Got us a bigger boat.
And you like all the room and the ride?
Sure.
Oh, and how about the Hemi engine and the DVD player and the hands-free cell? Then why won't you use the navigation system?
I'm not lost.
Dodge Durango.
This is starting to look familiar.
It's a lot of great stuff for a great price.
There he is right there.
Got him. Come here.
It crashed again.
Reboot with F8 into safe mode.
Hostile target, tracking southeast, 270 for 50.
Roger that.
Hi, what's Sprint's new fair and flexible plan?
Unlimited night calling starts at 7 p.m.
Whoa, 7 p.m. That's... What's the word?
Why don't we spin the wheel of adjectives?
That's phenomenal!
Unlimited night calling now starts at 7 p.m. with Fair and Flexible. So you control your plan. It doesn't control you. Available on Sprint or Nextel products.
You have no right to something that is meant for me. So if you push me, I will push back. If you knock me down, I will get up and you will face the wrath of hell. Confucius once said, when anger arises, think of the consequences. So don't make me angry, because you won't like it when I'm angry. This is my Stanley Cup.
Stanley Cup playoffs on NBC. Presented by Sprint. Next Saturday and Sunday, 2 Eastern.
Second period highlights. Here's Peter. Well, this is a period dominated by 2 players for Buffalo. One, you had Miller at one end, regaining his confidence, really showing his team that he was focused for this game. And then late in the period, Briere, a perfect pass across. Dumont scores. A period that had favored Philadelphia so far in this series. Strong for Buffalo in the second.
Powerade statistics show that things have leveled out a little bit. Score is not, though. Buffalo's built further. They have a 2-0 lead. Period 3 coming up.
Hey. You want to blow a hammy?
Excuse me.
At AOL, we believe everyone should be fast. That's why we're making it simple for our members to upgrade from dial-up to true broadband. To get AOL high speed for as low as $25.90 a month, sign up now at AOL.com/highspeed. Want a better high-speed internet? You belong at AOL.
They say your footprint is as unique as your fingerprint.
It's like me, unique.
That's why Dr. Scholl's created memory fit insoles with memory foam to form to the shape of your foot.
It forms right around your feet.
For customized comfort, see the doctor, Dr. Scholl's.
You may not leave this ballroom.
I am going to find my daughter. Don't think you can stop me.
Are you hurt?
Connor!
We'll find you. You know how much I love you.
I'm never gonna leave you.
There's nothing fair about who lives and who dies.
We're going to be okay.
Poseidon, rated PG-13.
Ready to double your chances of landing the right job? If you post your resume on Monster today, you're twice as likely to get the interview and the job.
If you love the convenience of shopping online, but you want to get a hold of your stuff ASAP, Circuit City makes it simple. Just buy online at CircuitCity.com and choose the in-store pickup option. We're the only place that guarantees your purchase will be ready for pickup in 24 minutes or less. If it's not, we'll give you a $24 gift card. It's that simple. Circuit City.
Thursday on an all-new Earl, a family secret leads to a probing discovery.
How was that cavity search? You got any, or you brush pretty good?
Randy, different cavity.
Then on The Office, the complaint box is opened.
Someone replaced all my pens and pencils with crayons.
And the truth comes out.
I don't like you. Well, I'll settle then.
All new comedy Thursday.
The NHL Stanley Cup playoffs on NBC presented by Sprint, brought to you by AOL. Want a better high-speed internet? You belong at AOL. By refreshingly smooth Bud Light, always worth it. By Sprint, official wireless provider of the NHL. And by Dodge, you can take life as it comes, or you can grab life by the horns. Dodge. Hockey birthdays. Dave Perro was a goaltender in the Buffalo chain at one time. 49 years of age. Dale Rolfe, 65. Steve Webb, the former Islander, 31. The ex-Ranger Mike McDougall, 48. Rich Pilon, longtime defenseman, is 38 years of age today. And Ken Dryden may become someday down the road Prime Minister, officially announced his candidacy over in Canada for the leadership of the Liberal Party.
Everybody tells me, Doc, that he was a great goaltender. I would not know, because we never got enough shots on goal to really know whether Ken Dryden was as good as advertised. We got a scoring chance. We used to pat each other in the back.
Well, Stephen Harper is the current Prime Minister, and he is writing a book on hockey history, the early years of professional hockey in Toronto. He does that to take the pressure off from politics. 10% of the Sabres fans do come across the Peace Bridge from Canada. And Chris Chapman, our statistician today, who is tremendous, has come a good distance to work with us today, and we're glad of that. It is fed back on for Sammy Kapanen. The teams are at full strength as this period gets underway. Escaping now is Savage. Had to regain possession. Turned a shot that was blocked off by the defense. Another try to the back. Desjardins cranks it. Oh, and getting a piece of it was Miller. Fired around there, and Savage allows it to go for a toss by Desjardins. Flagged down by the defense again. And this Sabres defense has been impressive in this game.
They've been impressive. Newman has certainly helped with his return to the lineup. But they have kept Philadelphia on the outside. As we have a look at the shot, and again, you always love when a player feels they haven't played well and they respond with a big performance. That is what is the key to these playoffs.
Cammie, what are the thoughts on Buffalo at the end of the second?
Well, Buffalo coaching staff obviously very happy with the way they played in the first two periods. They used their speed. That was their game plan. And it's really worked for them. If they can sustain that pressure in the third period, they'll be happy. One thing Philly has to do is stay out of the box here. Not only are they down by a man when they're in the box, but they lose their best player in Peter Forsberg because he doesn't penalty kill.
Boy, that's the thing that's tricky, isn't it? I mean, you talk about it in the locker room, we can't take penalties, and then you go out and do it.
Because the tough part, Doc, is that your emotions, like the playoffs, bring out a certain added intensity. On top of that, you're competitive by nature. And a guy gets a little step on you, you want to reach out. A guy bangs you, you want to bang him. And you've got to temper all of that.
This is Forsberg. Then back for the drive that went wide from Dennis Gauthier. Laid back further by Forsberg, but this intercepted and laid back out again by Derek Roy. Gauthier connecting back across with Desjardins. Forsberg and Gagne and Knuble, the big line out for the Philadelphia Flyers. Knuble taps, and it went off the heel of the stick of Gagne. Now Knuble again. Watched by Briere. He passes on for Forsberg. Sends it back to Hatcher. No shot until now. A deflection in front, and Miller grabbed it. Time now to listen to the sprint sounds of the game. Jay McKee as well as R.J. Umberger.
There you go. Stay over there. Chief. Hey.
McKee is 74. Good call, Chief, was that he was telling his coach. Might have been Lindy Ruff. Drive that went wide. Played along by McKee. Bounced loose in front for Briere. Dumont and Connolly have the power play goals for the Sabres. One in the first, one in the second. Sabres hoping to take a big advantage. Even though it's by only a game, it would force all the pressure to Philadelphia coming home facing elimination. Long toss ahead comes on to Briere once more. Has an opening and fires, and that deflected away by Hatcher. Follow-up, though, and a backhander found its way in front from Campbell and careened off one of the Flyers' defensemen. Now back on to Brian Campbell once more. McKee a shot, and it's held by Robert Ashe.
Doc, you were talking about Umberger and his ability to come back in this series and play so well. Again, this is a very young guy. This is where that respect starts to rise inside the locker room. Because the players would have been watching. Okay, how is he going to respond to the next hit?
That one occurred right down near Cammy Granato.
Well, and Doc, it was right next to me there, and Umberger giving Daniel Briere a couple extra shoves. He's got to be careful here. This team can't lose composure. They're down by 2 goals, and if they end up in the penalty box, they're doing themselves no service at all.
I'm glad that we have a former player down there, Peter, because that collision occurred dangerously close to our reporter.
Thank God there's a pane of glass in between on that one, but I certainly have to keep my eyes up down here.
Yeah, well, there's none in front of you. Here is Hanzu's bringing it ahead. And that one given up. We know that you have a dental benefit. We just don't want to see a claim yet. Followed through now, and the shot by Kalinin is held by Ashe, and so play halted again.
Doc, you're just talking about Canada and the fact a lot of people are bleeding over from Canada. Just interesting what you read in the paper that may not seem like it's a hockey matter, but it really is. The Canadian dollar has never been better. It's the highest it's been since 1976. It's up to 90 cents on the dollar. Now, why is that important? NHL players are paid what's called a National Hockey League dollar, which right now is the United States dollar. So all of those teams in Canada, where the dollar used to be worth 76 cents, 78 cents, well, now their dollar is worth close to 90 cents. And so you're now in a situation where it's not costing you as much to pay those free agents.
Good point, because 4 of the 6 teams are alive in these playoffs. And I think if you look at the Edmonton Oilers having the ability, because of the new NHL economy, to bring in a Chris Pronger and a Michael Pekka, and now not to have to take the hit so much in converting to U.S. dollars. Well, the Penn relays will be coming up. That's after today's game. Olympic gold medalist Justin Gatlin and Sean Crawford lead the U.S. against the world in the Penn relays next on NBC. Off the draw, jostling in is Lucian, reaching in is Forsberg, and he prevails. But his pass turned over to the Sabres, but then is held by Gauthier and then lost to Drury. Might be a 2-on-1. Drury a drive, and it's saved by Edge. Oh, has he ever been large for the Flyers, despite the fact his team is down by 2.
So many times in this game when it could have fallen over to Buffalo, Ashley's coming up with a big save. That one goal in the second period by Dumont, and that is an absolute no-chance situation. Good passing by Briere, and Chris Drury right there. Now, he had Roy on the far side, but I've always felt that's the best play. In a 2-on-1 in a situation like that, make sure you at least get that shot on him.
Off this draw, it's brought back ahead. Ryan Miller has been outstanding, and so has Esch today. Miller really needed to be, and Esch, of course, feels he needs to be every game, and what goalie doesn't. But these are guys that, you know, we're away from the series for a day or two, even though we attend practices. We're away from a series, and we don't live with goaltender. Oh, what a good hit on Dumont that time, and then wiping out across the way another Sabre as it skipped onto Freddie Meyer. And boy, the challenge comes quickly from the Sabres on the forecheck, doesn't it?
They get on you the minute. They've got a great system. They all know what's going to be happening each time they're on the ice.
Briere comes up and they score! Afinogenov has made it 3-0. Daniel Briere with another remarkable pass.
The more you see of Daniel Briere, the more you realize why this Sabre club is so dangerous. They have got great balance, and they've got that little extra offensive sparkle. Did you see, Doc, that puck come off his skate to his stick? A great hockey man once told me, you know, one of the real defining things about a good player that is a great player is the ability to take a pass. Not just give it, the ability to take it. And Briere showed you right there why he's such a good player. And for Afinogenov, that's his first ever home goal in the playoffs.
7 points in 9 road games, but had never connected at home. He had 1 assist to show for 11 home playoff games until this is 12th one. And the fans here are still standing to applaud the goal by Afinogenov. And here's another try, and a save. Esch at the rebound, and Esch got a piece of the shot by Vanek. Now Paul Dahlstedt turned it along to Vanek, chopped off his stick, and sent further by Ratchie. Kept alive, though, and a pitch-working move by Campbell. Nearly run to the ditch was Pitkanen by Jay McKee.
And here's one of the biggest differences in this Buffalo club. They don't take the gas off the pedal.
3-0 to lead the gas,
whichever way I'm going with that one, Doc. They will keep coming at you. They keep pressuring you. So instead of sitting back and let you now dictate the next 14 minutes of this period, they're going to dictate the period.
The standing ovation just now was for one line coming off the ice. Battled away on the Drury shot by Robert Esch, and around it comes to Desjardins. Eric Desjardins got it through at center. Green back down and once more back for it. And Kaliner checked off feistily by Peter Forsberg. To the half boards, they battle further, and this is a 3-on-2 developing. Gagne able to get back. The Sabres in the midst of a change. The catching glove save by Robert Esch. And they stand again. 6.5 gone, third period. The home team ahead in the game, 3-0.
I wasn't sure about this whole 5-minute date thing, but I feel like we have a connection.
I feel it too.
Maybe we should go on a real date.
I don't know about that.
Well, why?
It would upset my fiance, probably.
You're not single.
Oh, no, I'm just here for the Bud Light. What am I supposed to say? Hi, honey, I'm dating Amy. Not cool.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
It's her. Hey, sweetie.
Silly little fairy.
Oh! Introducing the all-new Dodge Caliber. It's anything but cute.
Hi.
This Nextel calling plan is great.
Yeah.
So all incoming calls are free, plus I get unlimited Nextel walkie-talkie?
That's right.
Kind of makes you want to jump up and down and scream for joy.
We have an area for that right over here.
Free incoming calls from anyone, anywhere, plus unlimited walkie-talkie, just $39.99. Available on Sprint or Nextel products.
And with this kind of pressure that Buffalo is putting on right now, this type of back-and-forth game, they have the advantage. Philly cannot keep up. They had trouble in game 1 and 2 doing the same thing, and it's electrified this building.
I'll bet it's pretty frustrating on the bench that's directly to your left, Cammy.
There's definitely frustration, guys, from the bench. There's a lot of door slamming sticks against the boards here, and Philly does feel that frustration. That's all due to the pressure from Buffalo.
Shots overall in the period are 8-4. Buffalo is certainly right at that statistical ship. But the big important thing is the 3-0 lead, the confidence that it has given the Sabres defense, as well as the goalkeeper Ryan Miller. Was mentioning earlier, Peter, you know, we don't live inside a goalie's head, thank God, for the 2 days that occur between a bad game and the one that they hope will go back the other way. I don't imagine there's a lot of sleep.
It's the one individual position where you don't have line mates, you don't have a defensive partner. You're out there every time their team scores, that light goes on behind you and somebody's celebrating. It is a thankless job. It is one of tremendous. I mean, you are in control of the game. It's the one spot in all of sports that if you're absolutely perfect, you can win a game.
If you were the guy that was Ryan Miller and you were watching the TV and listening to the sports talk shows, you would know that the fans at least were considering, well, what about Marty Biron coming in and playing goal in this fifth game?
And he was asked that yesterday. Did you expect to be the goal for tomorrow's game? Yes. That was it. That was his one question, and then the press conference kind of ended. You have to have a confidence, an unbelievable confidence. I was watching Martin Brodeur. I was lucky enough to watch Patrick Waugh through his years in Colorado. It's got to be unshakable, because the one thing that players don't want to do on the ice is have to worry about what's going on behind them. There's so much in front of you that you have to worry about those saves. You got to trust your goaltender, and that goaltender, sometimes even when he doesn't have it, has to show that he's confident.
In an earlier Aaron, we showed you some footage of the Fog game played in Buffalo, and Bernie Perrant was that man for the Philadelphia Flyers. Through so many years, lost an eye, lost his vision in the late 70s, but through remarkable developments in ophthalmology has gotten his vision back, and that's a wonderful story. He probably would consider himself a little too old to play now, but he could if he had to.
You know, everybody talks about Philadelphia, and they were a great team with great players. Bobby Clark, Bill Clement, Reggie Leach. They had a very complete club. But the 2 years they won the Stanley Cup, Bernie Perrant was the MVP of the playoffs. He was a remarkable goaltender, one of those goaltenders who career ended a little short, so I don't think enough people recognize just how brilliant he was.
The voice of Peter McNabb, a former Sabre, as well as Boston Bruin, New Jersey Devil. We talked earlier about the role that you had during the Fog game, going out and flapping a towel around. You also were a chauffeur for the Buffalo goaltender in that series, weren't you?
Roger Crozier, who my first introduction to NHL goaltending was Roger Crozier, who threw up before every game.
Here's a chance for the Sabres, and that one is saved by Ash. A collision with him, and a penalty will be coming up to Kostad. A delayed call on. Back ahead comes Nedved, puts on the brakes, pitches it across, and it's deflected to the corner by a Sabre. So the power play for Philadelphia with 10:56 to go in the third. Kostad does not believe it, but
they seldom do. You know?
And they always sell us on that, don't they?
It's one of those plays now. You're down 3-0. If you're Ken Hitchcock, you throw caution to the wind and pull your goaltender and go 6-on-4 and try to get a quick one back.
Boy, 10:56 to go. Yeah. What do you think?
You know, it's not something that's normally done. But for Ken Hitchcock, these are two well-coached hockey clubs. Two coaches who have adjusted to the new NHL. Ken Hitchcock's club was ravaged by injuries all season long. Every time you turned around, it seemed another key guy was out of the lineup. Ken Hitchcock has coached brilliantly, as Lindy Ruff has this season.
Here is Drury losing and then getting it right back again to Greer with a shot that is back and grabbed by Ash, and he'll just hold on. The last time these two coaches met in the playoffs was in 1999, and the final game was here. A goal that is still hotly disputed in Buffalo, scored by Brett Hull, that brought Ken Hitchcock and Dallas the championship. Cammy Granato is down between those benches.
But one of the things Buffalo does really well on their penalty kill is they don't dump the puck down like most teams. They have so much speed on their transition that they pick the puck up, they skate down for an offensive opportunity, like that last shift when Drury busted out of the zone for a chance on net with Greer.
Here's a steal, and Connolly moves in. Can't get the shot away as Kitchenen got back on him.
Now you wonder, first time he's had that visor on, if the visor just maybe threw that off a little bit, because it is a different situation when you don't have the visor and suddenly you do it. It changes your perspective of seeing the puck. In what way? You know what? I don't know. It's just the players have told me, because I never wore a helmet, never wore the visor. But players will tell you it takes time to get used to the seeing through the shield.
Do you think a guy with a visor feels more courageous?
Well, there's a lot of talk, but that's an interesting thing. I've had players tell me that they are now going to put on visors. I don't think it's more courageous. I just think you're more careless.
Here is Drury coming back with Greer. Tried to drive it across, but Gagne got back in a good back check, as most of this time has been spent from the Buffalo blue line out. So that translates as a tremendous penalty kill for a team that's on a terrific defensive game.
And this is exactly what Cammy was talking about. No dump and get off for Buffalo. It's stump. I mean, get the puck out of the zone and create a scoring chance.
Jeff Carter drops it back. Nedved takes it there. Carter at the front of the cage. It is McKee tending to business there. It's cleared, but right to Freddie Meyer. Meyer holds, but does not shoot. Twisted along by Kapanen. Taken on by Nedved. Elevator to him. Kapanen a shot. Fought off by Miller. Rebound by Hanzus. Off the defense. And it comes back out the center. Penalty box is empty. Gallstedt is back to play with his friends.
And 2 big minutes off the clock now. We're well under the 10-minute mark of this hockey game, down by 3. You're going to have to see Philadelphia just come in waves if they can at this Buffalo club.
Like the poster back in Philadelphia after Game 4-7. Along now comes the Finneganov. Wants to start it the other way and made a pretty good decision as it sent eventually ahead to Briere for the drive that got in the glass. And then the stick of Dumas shoved around to Briere. Briere for Dumas in front, and it's blocked down by the defense. Getting in the way was Savage, and back ahead he can bring it. Ryan Savage got it to Richards. Oh, and a scorching shot is deflected up to the glass. Played along again for the feed that went through Richards from Radomojevic. Pinching in was Gauthier. Right back to the take by the Sabres defense. Brought back ahead by Briere, and the pass is deflected out of play just over Cammy's head. Third period. Not every attempt today has been met with contact, but a lot. 3-0.
The Stanley Cup playoffs on NBC, presented by Sprint, next Saturday and Sunday, 2 Eastern.
Best Buy's got the cool gifts to make every gift-giving occasion a celebration. From great wedding gifts to fun birthday gifts they're sure to love. Even cool gifts perfect for any graduate. And don't forget, Mom's Day is May 14th. This year, get her what she really wants, like the 5-megapixel HP digital camera, just $89.99. Cool gifts for Mom, now at Best Buy.